The NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship and the road to $10,500 runs through the Chicagoland Speedway this evening. This is round number 3 of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Good evening, my name is Tim Terry, joined by Nim Cross in the booth this evening. Nim, 43 drivers getting ready to attack the Chicagoland Speedway. And as we saw in hot laps, we were going to Bristol. There's a little bit of a characteristic with that racetrack that the iRacing staff is going to fix. They want to put on some fantastic racing. They want to see fantastic racing, and we are going to witness it this evening. Chicagoland Speedway, fantastic venue for these cars.
Yeah, big 1.5 mile racetrack. It's really wide, it's banked. They should be able to race all over the track. Lots of side-by-side action we'll see tonight. Very competitive track. Anybody who's the fastest guy should be able to make his moves and get the passing done here, and it should be a very competitive race.
2 weeks ago when we left you, it was Nick Ottinger coming home in victory lane, and Nick Ottinger going to start P1 here this evening. Ottinger has been looking fairly sporty here the last couple of weeks, and after Daytona, not being at the racetrack for Daytona, he's going to have to use that as his drop week. I talked to him last week, and he said we really have no more drops. We can't afford to run bad in these next 15 races, and he's proving it so far. He's out in front. The best way to win races, I guess, is running out front and winning the most laps led award, getting those bonus points, and getting that dream Chevrolet out in front.
Oh, he's definitely had a very strong Pro Series season coming into this series, and as you said, he missed Daytona, but since he's been back, he's won the race last week, and he won the pole for this race so far. So he is sitting in the catbird seat. He's ready to go, and he's making up those points after last week's finish. Even though he missed the first race, he's currently 19th in points right now, and that's pretty impressive for actually missing a race.
And a 3-time iRacing Street Stock champion is the number 05 of Nick Ottinger. Looking through the standings here after 2 events, it's Jeremy Allen up on top of the standings, 2 points between himself and Michael Conti. Brian Schoenberg, fantastic first 2 races, runs in 3rd. Tyler Hudson and Marcus Lindsay completes your top 5. Ray Alfala, Carson McClellan, Richie Davidowitz, Pedro Mojica, the Mohican Missile in P9, and Cyril Nussbaum, the French Connection, in P10. So a lot of drivers looking to make moves, and the big storyline, Nim, and we mentioned it last year with Richard Towler really starting off with a subpar start to the season. Drivers that are looking to rebound, how about Steve Sheehan, P37, Josh Berry, albeit he's missed one race, P39, Josh Parker, P41, Alex Warren, your Pro Series champion, P42 in the standings. Derek Wood has had a horrendous first 2 races. He sits P46.
Yeah, there are definitely surprises down there. Parker always runs up front, but he's had some problems in the first couple races, and we even mentioned and documented last week that he's trying it on his own this season, and he's not really a part of one of those big testing teams. So that might be one of the issues that he's working on this year too, but it's not working out well for him so far, and he's going to be looking to rebound here at Chicagoland.
And speaking of rule changes, I know there's a couple of rule changes that we should go over here and then before we go racing this evening, and new changes to the series. Self-spins. There's been a couple of drivers that have brought out caution flags, maybe not intentionally, but there's cars that have been spinning on the racetrack, and we see it at short tracks all the time, trying to draw that caution flag out because their car might not be handling right. There's a rule now in the rule book for this series that if you self-spin, and it could very well be a 1-race suspension for you, and also slowing for wrecks. If there's a wreck in front of you and you're going at an excessive speed through that wreck, then you might very well be sitting for a race as well. It's just preventative measures put forward by the iRacing officials to make the racing just that little bit better, and I think we're going to see some better racing because of those rule changes.
Yeah, you can't be having guys out there, trying to draw cautions and, or doing things that, will hurt other people in the race, in such ways. So in the issue of fairness, iRacing, the officials will be over that, and they'll be checking the drivers as they're, trying to slow down for wrecks, or, and they'll be investigating these spins also, so nobody's trying to cause an intentional yellow.
And just before we go to the starting lineup, you want to win $25 in iRacing credit. head over to Twitter, twitter.com, and of course PSR TV is our hashtag name over there, or I guess our at PSR TV. But we do have a hashtag tonight. It's Chicagoland NiSWC. Chicagoland NiSWC. The best tweet that is composed, you see the hashtag on the screen, the best tweet that is composed, we're going to have somebody pick that. It's going to be $25 of iRacing credit, and that will buy you, if you're a new subscriber, that will get you 3 months for the price of one, and it might pick you up a track or so as well. So use that hashtag. You could very well win at the end of the evening. We are getting ready to grid. Let's go down our starting grid for this evening's race, round number 3 of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship from the Chicagoland Speedway. The Rheem Chevrolet starts on the pole this evening. It's the 05 of Nick Ottinger. To his outside, Spy Optics. On board the number 6 of Steve Sheehan.
Inside row number 2 is the car number 84 of John Adams. Outside him, car number 52 of Patrick Baldwin.
Next row sees the 23 of Josh Parker and last season's champ, Ray Alfala, in the 2.
Row number 4 is Brad Wright on the inside and Kevin King on the outside.
Brian Schoenberg starts in P9 into the outside, number 5, Mike Conti.
Row number 6 has Josh Berry and car number 72 on the inside. Outside of him, car number 32, Paul Kashiba.
Daniel Pope II rolls off 13th, 14th, the Mohican Missile, Pedro Mojica.
Starting 15 is Tyler D. Hudson in car number 01. Outside of him is car number 1, Marcus Lindsay.
Chris Overland in the 47 starts in 17th. 18th is the GSR champion, Thomas Hazard.
19th, Cyril Nussbaum from France. And outside of him is Alex Warren.
The Simplex Media Solutions Chevrolet of Brian Blackford rolls off 21st. 22nd is Thomas Lewandowski.
23rd, Ricky Davidowitz, who had a little bit of problems at Phoenix. And outside of him is Josh Connors, car number 15.
Nice rebound for the Sea Giraffe after not qualifying last week. Michael J. Johnson rolls off 25th. 26th is Byron Daly.
27th, Charles Cosper. Outside him, Brad Davies in car number 28, who was the winner of this race last year.
Dumpy rolls off in 29th. It's John Gorlinski in car number 21 and Justin Thompson, number 98.
Connor McKenzie starts 31st. Outside him, Chad Coleman starts 32nd.
Carson McClellan rolls off 33rd and Derek Wood, P34.
35th is Robert Hall. Outside him, Brandon Bushberger.
Your point leader deep in the field. 37th is Jeremy Allen and Chris Main in 38th.
Joshua Lofton goes 39th. Andrew Fash III will go 40th.
From France, we have Florian Goddard in P41. P42 is Vinny Sansone, and John Prather rolls off P43. Did not qualify this evening. Patrick Fogel and Jake Sturgis, 45 of the 50 drivers, attempted to qualify for this evening's racing action. Here we go. 133 laps around the Chicagoland Speedway. Glad you could be with us this evening on iRacing.com and PSR TV. The first racing Ford Mustang pace car getting ready to head to the safety of the infield. Nick Ottinger and Steve Sheehan getting ready to see the green for the first time this evening. Pace car is in. Field and control of Nick Ottinger. Here we go. Green flag flies. We're underway.
Green flag does come out, and Nick Ottinger will get the lead here on the start of the race. 133 laps is this race. Tim, I raced this race earlier this year, and that to get to halfway on this, you're really going to have to stretch the fuel. Some people might be able to do it, and some people are not going to be able to. So definitely a one-stop race, maybe a two-stop for some.
Pit stop's going to come into play here. Ottinger in first now. Here comes Adams. Adams to second. Josh Parker, P3. The GSRacing.net Chevrolet up to third. Side by side for fourth. The champ on the inside. Ray Alfala, Steve Sheehan on the outside. Pat Baldwin looking for a place to race in the 52. Here comes King underneath him.
Yeah, Ray Alfala right underneath of, I think that's Brad Wright on the outside. Alfala will pick up that spot down the back straightaway.
Sheehan now to the outside. Here comes Kevin King. Here comes Brad Wright in the 48. Brad Wright looking to pick up a spot. Steve Sheehan going backwards. On the outside line right now is Patrick Baldwin. Nearly got into the wall in the 52. Brian Schoenberg, double 5 on the inside. Looking to pick up one more spot. The inside line looks to be the place to be early in this race.
Yeah, Sheehan stuck up there on the outside. Patrick Baldwin is right on his rear bumper on the outside. Kind of trapped in there. He has nowhere to go. Baldwin now will move down to the inside going into turn 3, but Sheehan stuck up on the outside lane. Maybe fighting a little bit of a handling issue with that car right now.
Daniel Pope II, number 18 on the inside, looking to pick up a couple of spots, as well as Sheehan. Continues to go backwards here early. Ottinger continues to lead. John Adams 0.4 of a second behind. And then back around 10th. It's getting dicey. Daniel Pope II, Steve Sheehan side by side.
And Mike Conte following Sheehan up there on the outside. He's kind of stuck up there right now too. But Sheehan was down on the inside, not able to hold it down there. So I really think there's something going on with that car right now. He's not happy with that setup, or he might be saving tires. But right now, it looks like everybody's getting around him and getting around him pretty quick.
I was talking to Brian Blackford a little bit earlier on in the number 33. He was saying you can make the high line work in 1 and 2 as these guys go through 1 and 2 right now. 3 and 4, you definitely want to be on the low line. There are bumps in 3 and 4. The low line works just a little bit better on that end of the racetrack as Blackford makes the move now on the 6 of Sheehan. Here comes Conti on the inside.
Yeah, Sheehan definitely having problems because he's even slowing up the cars on the outside lane with him. So you see those cars right now, it looks like the 32 car, Paul Kshiba is right up behind Sheehan, and he's even holding the cars up on the outside. So it's not just that he's running the outside lane. There's other cars up there that are going much quicker. And you see right there to go in the corner, the Kshiba car has to check up for Sheehan. So Sheehan's struggling with the car right now.
If you're going to struggle with handling, I guess the early part of the race is the place to struggle. Oh, Cyril Nussbaum, number 99 and 21, going to get into it. I saw that out of the corner of my eye happening. Caution flag will fly. Oh, we're going to get Brandon Buchberger involved in this. Vinny Sansone's through the grass. I saw that out of the corner of my eye, Nim. I don't know if the 99 went in a little bit too deep, but I know he had to check up for the guys in front of him.
Yeah, he was going in the corner, and it looked like he got in a little bit too hot, where he had to check out for Kshiba, and that got him loose. And the cars behind, I believe it was Alex Warren, and took out Gorlinski also, but I believe Alex Warren had nowhere to go and got into the back of him.
And it's been a tough season for Alex Warren so far. He is your Pro Series champion from last season, and he's had a couple of tough races to start off this season. We mentioned it off the top of the show. So it's tough for Alex Warren and a lot of these guys trying to get through the Pro Series ranks. You should look at the wreck again here on lap number, the first few laps of the race, lap number 6.
Looks like the two guys that got the worst of that are Nussbaum and Gorlinski.
Tough break for those guys. A couple of drivers coming down pit road at this point, and mostly at the back of the field here. These guys trying to some strategy. I shouldn't say back of the field. 23 is in of Josh Parker. The 2 of Ray Alfala is in. The 6 of Steve Sheehan is also in to get service on their race cars. 4 tires going on the 2 and the number 23 cars. And then we keep talking about Twitter. Twitter's really big. We talked about the $25 giveaway we're doing this evening for the best tweet composed with Chicagoland, NiSWC. Let's see if we can't get a camera on the number 23 car right now with Josh Parker. He's on Twitter as well, a big social media giant. You can follow him at JoshParker81. And you're asking, why would I want to follow Josh Parker besides, his tweets are really, really interesting. He's tweeting tonight from the race car. So if you want some action, excitement to follow along with the race, you want to follow Josh Parker 81. The last tweet that I got from him, Nim, was, quote, first time I can actually see the pace car since September of 2011. He had an awesome qualifying run here this evening.
Yeah, he did. I'm trying to find where he's running right now. He's running in the 8th position right now. So, yeah, I'm sure it is nice to see the pace car. I don't actually get to see it much in my races, so when I do see it, it's actually kind of surprising. So, I understand how he feels right now. Carson McClellan was waved around, so he did receive a lap back on that caution flag.
So Carson McClellan gets waved around the pace car, as you mentioned. He is the eye-dog for this caution period. John Gorlinski looks like his night after that incident is over. The Degree for Men, number 21, has pulled it in the garage area. Brandon Buchberger is still on pit road getting that car repaired. The JDR Graphics, number 17, still sitting on pit road, and he's got He's already a lap down, Nim, and he's got probably about a half lap before these guys do come back around to put him another lap behind the pace. Nick Ottinger leads John Adams, Kevin King, your top 5.
Yeah, I believe that you're going to make it about 55, 56 laps on fuel here, so that would be just short of the 133 if you're going to try to make it on one stop. This caution flag is going to help a lot of these guys out because caution flags, you burn a lot less fuel than you do under a race laps. So I'm not sure that one caution will allow these guys to go to 130 or to make one stop to 133. Probably not, but we'll see how that works out. But a lot of these guys may be hoping for another caution before they have to make their pit stop. And if that comes, it's going to have to come early because even if it does come a little bit later, they're going to want to change tires if they're going to use them up right now. But being that this accident happened in the first couple laps, they didn't need new tires.
Just got a message from Cyril Nussbaum as well. It looks like the crew is repairing the damage on the number 99 car, but it's going to be probably at least 10 laps or so before we see that car again. And you can see him on pit road. The number 99 is Cyril Nussbaum. The Simplex Media Solutions, number 99. So he will be a few laps before they get that damage repaired. But Nim, it's very key. Each of these points are really key. It's 1 point per position. So let's say you can gain 3 or 4 positions. That's 3 or 4 extra points towards the season end championship. These guys get $10,500 to win this championship, but they do get paid all the way back. I believe it's through the top 12, I believe.
Yeah, top 12 positions get paid, and the champion gets that $10,500, and he also gets a ring from NASCAR. He gets a jacket from NASCAR. He gets the trophy. He gets to stand on the stage with the Sprint Cup champions and all the NASCAR champions down in Homestead, Florida. So it's a huge deal, and these guys, they want to pick up as many points as they can. As we saw just a few moments ago of the 17 car, Brandon Bushberger, he spun under yellow on that last lap, and that's why the caution's been extended here one lap. So he's doing the best he can to get that car repaired, to stay in the race, and to do his best for this championship. And you see his hard work right there. He actually had a little bit of a mishap trying to get that car fixed.
Another driver that's had a tough season so far, the number 17 of Brandon Buchberger, and he was one of the drivers that made the GSRacing.net Truck Series chase. GSRacing.net, one of the big independently owned series within iRacing. And Brandon had a good season over there, trying to carry the momentum from that series and also the Pro Series to this NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. One of the good guys in this series, Brandon Buchberger, in the number 17. Lights are out again atop the First Racing Ford Mustang pace car. Nick Ottinger leads John Adams, Kevin King, Brad Wright, Josh Berry, top 5 the last time by the stripe. Brian Schoenberg, Pat Baldwin, Daniel Pope II, Tyler Hudson, and the Mohican Missile, Pedro Mojica, runs in position at number 10. We still have 40 cars on the lead lap. Cyril Nussbaum's 2 laps down, Brandon Buchberger's 2 laps down. Those drivers are getting damage repaired to their race cars, and John Gorlinski is 3 laps down in the garage area at this point. It's the Gale 4 suspension, Ream Tim's Corner Motorsports, number 05, leading this field with John Adams on the outside, the GSRacing.net Trading Paints, Xlander Design, and Mud Jug Portable Spittoons, number 84. They're going to lead the field to the green flag. The pace car going to pull into the infield here and leave the field in command of Nick Ottinger. Ottinger waiting for the green flag to fly. The 05 puts the hammer down. We're back underway on lap number 12. Adams in second, King and Wright going to go at it for P3.
Ottinger elected for kind of a slow restart that time. He brought him all the way to the very end of where he could start the race, and had a pretty slow restart that time that kind of bunched everybody up behind. But everybody got away good, and we have John Adams right there in second place, and the 72 car back in about the 5th spot is being challenged down the inside.
Adams trying to hold off King. Here comes Brad Wright. He's going to flash the nose underneath the number 29, side by side for position number 3. Looks like the 48 going to get the position away. Brian Schoenberg now thinking, I want position number 4. Kevin King into the 29, trying to hold off the 55, 52, and here comes 72. Little bump from the 50 or the 72 to the 52, going into 3.
As you look back from Kevin King's car, there you see Brad Wright right behind. Actually, that's Schoenberg right behind him right now, coming down to the tri-oval.
Fieldworks into corner number 1. The 33 and 01 are side by side at P10. Tyler Hudson trying to hold off the 33 of Brian Blackford. The 1 of Marcus Lindsay creeps up on the 5 of Mike Conti. This is just inside the top 10 as the 01 holds position number 10. Everybody else, well, just outside, looking to crack that top 10.
Paul Kashiba challenges Brian Schoenberg there to make his way into the top 5. Trouble
54
on the front
of
straightaway.
Eric Wood spinning, and man, Carson McClellan gets into it as well in the 46. Oh, somebody didn't slow down there either. Boy, oh boy. Derek Wood, what a tough season he's had to start this off.
Yeah, he looked like he got a little bit loose coming off of the corner there. The 11 car, Brad Davies, tried to miss him, and another car tried to miss him also, and these guys are slowing down. It's so hard to get these cars slowed down. You see the 46 car, he had to step on the gas so hard there that he actually spun out trying to miss him. Then there's one guy that kind of goes moving by on the outside there pretty quick, but these guys are trying to get wood down. It's not easy to stand on the brakes and wood these cars down. I've experienced in these Class A races here on iRacing. And you see a wreck way up ahead, and you're on the brakes, and you're trying to get wood down, and it's so hard to get these 3,400-pound stock cars slowed down.
And he's won here at Chicagoland Speedway before Nim, Derek Wood in the number 54. And that car that was going on the outside line, I believe that was Brandon Bookberger. You talk about how hard it is to slow down these cars to begin with. If you have a bunch of damage to your race car, you got a bunch of suspension pieces that aren't exactly right on that race car, it makes it 2 times, 3 times as hard to get that car woe down. And if it's going to woe down, it's likely going to pull one way or the other if you have that damage on that race car. So it was tough for that 17 to slow down there, and tough break for Carson McClellan as well. He just got the eye dog on the last caution. We're going to throw some fakes here. Down onto pit road, is anybody going to come? 72, Josh Berry. Going to be the first to come down pit road here on this caution flag on lap number 16. He's going to bring Brian Schoenberg along with him, as is Daniel Pope, and a few others going to come down pit road. Berry the first to pit.
Yeah, these guys, we're on lap number 17, so from this point on, you might be able to make it on one more stop. We were talking about getting slowed down. I think it was, we had this racetrack that was the first week of the NASCAR iRacing Class A schedule this year, and there was a wreck going down in turn 1, and I remember seeing it way up ahead, and I was trying to get the car slowed down, and the closer I got to it, the more I started thinking, boy, I'm really not slowing down that much, and I actually had to, by the time I got there, I had to spin the car to get there. So it is very deceiving on, you think you're slowing down enough, and you're just not, and so it is hard to get these cars slowed down.
Looks like Robert Hall was also on pit road under this caution, as was Marcus Lindsay, Thomas Hazard, Richie Davidowitz. The NPR guys down on pit road on this caution. Jeremy Allen, Charles Cosper, Paul Kashiba, Michael J. Johnson, Chris Main, Josh Lawton, Vinny Sansone, John Prather, Florian Goddard, Carson McClellan. Cyril Nussbaum is coming off pit road right now. That car's not exactly tracking right. Alex Warren in the 82, Derek Wood in the 54. We're all down on pit road under that caution flag, as the pace car remains out in front of the field. Nick Ottinger, John Adams, Kevin King, Brad Wright, and Patrick Baldwin, your top 5.
Out of all the cars you see on the track here, all these guys are champions somewhere. So you see Nick Ottinger up front. He's obviously a very successful race car driver, but all the way back through, all these guys are champions and have competed for the right to be here amongst the membership of about 32,000 people right now at iRacing.com. So, these are the cream of the crop. These are the best of the best oval racers that we have on iRacing.com. And if you're unfamiliar with iRacing, all these guys are racing from the comforts of their own home. And anybody can compete on this service, and you start out in the lower series and work your way up to what we have here is the NASCAR iRacing Drivers World Championship Series. And you could also be a part of it too, and if you want to give it a try, you can go to www.iracing.com, and you can buy 1 month and get 2 more for free. So for 3 months, for $12, you can give it a try and check it out, see if you like it.
And as you mentioned before, Nim, fantastic racing here on the iRacing service, and you can race anything from a street stock or a legend car, which are the rookie ranking cars to up to the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series cars that you see on the racetrack, the NASCAR Class A Series on iRacing. If you're a Sprint Cup driver or a Silver Crown driver, or you like the NASCAR Tour Modifieds, it's all here at iRacing.com. And of course, I'm a short track guy myself. Love watching short track racing, late models, also on here as well. Pace car lights still on. We should be about a lap or so before we see green flag racing once again.
Yeah, there's a lot. Lights do go off the pace car, so we got one more lap to green. But there's so much to do. It's almost not enough time for all the races to do during the week. But you pick and choose. You choose what you like, and you're right. Short track racing all the way up to the big tracks, like we're seeing here today. And let's not forget the road racing. Start out in the Mazda Miatas and work your way all the way up to the Williams Formula One car. So, and anything in between, Grand Am and IZOD IndyCar and some LMP cars and all kinds of stuff. So, you know, whatever your flavor of racing is, whatever you enjoy, you'll find it here at iRacing.com. Caution has been waived again, and we will be waiting one more lap for the Lucky Dog driver, the number 17 car, to get his lap back.
So Brandon Bookberger will be waved around the pace car. He will get one of his 5 laps back. He'll be 4 laps down in P41. Cyril Nussbaum 9 laps down. John Gorlinski off the racetrack at this point. Everybody else is currently on the lead lap that is in this race. Ottinger, Adams, King, Wright, Baldwin, top 5. There goes Brandon Bookberger. He'll get back on the 4 lap down lap to Nick Ottinger, who will complete 19 of 133 right here. Pace car lights are out, and next time by we'll go back racing.
Yeah, Brandon's crew looks like he did a pretty good job on that car, and he's got it much better than he had it a little bit earlier. So hopefully he'll be able to keep up there and get one of those lap backs, maybe get his way back into this race by the end of it.
So Ottinger and Adams and those drivers had a fantastic battle in the Pro Series race at Pocono back a few months ago. And if memory serves me correctly, Nim, it didn't end well for Ottinger. Ottinger bounced off the wall, and Adams went on to win the race. So those guys have raced many clean laps together. We're hoping for some more here. John Adams looking for that first win in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Nick Ottinger got it 1 week ago, or 2 weeks ago. So we'll look to see who can get the quick jump here on the start. Ottinger's been lightning quick so far in the first 2.
Yeah, it's kind of neat to see, too.
Pace car is off. Ottinger and John Adams lead the field to green. Great jump for Nick Ottinger in the 0-5. It's side by side for second. Kevin King trying to take away the position from Mr. John Adams.
King side by side with Adams going down through corner number 1 and 2. King looks to pick up that spot, but Adams will have the momentum up on the outside.
Brad Wright and the 52 battle behind them. Adams pokes a nose out going into corner number 3. Kevin King on the inside, side by side. Great run middle of the corner for the number 29. Side by side at a 484. Gonna try to come to second. He looks like he's got it.
Yeah, it looks like Adams has good momentum coming off of the corners. Kings has it a little bit of advantage going into the corner. Now that Adams can take the preferred line, as you see Derek Wood making his way back to the track, Adams will take over that second spot.
48 and 01 go side by side for position. Tyler Hudson trying to take away the position away from the 48 of Brad Wright. You look back from Pat Baldwin and the number 52 as Hudson trying to clear the number 48. Little wiggle from the TDH Delivery Ream Chevrolet.
Yeah, it can get pretty tight coming off that corner there, and you saw Hudson had to kind of pinch the car to make sure that he didn't pinch Brad Wright up into the wall there, but he had a little bit of a wiggle. He kept it under control, and everybody's able to move on.
Down the back straightaway, Nick Ottinger is away by 0.4 of a second. John Adams, Kevin King, Pat Baldwin, Tyler Hudson, top 5. Here comes Pedro Mojica. Mojica begins to move up as he and Brian Blackford try to fly the MC Racing flag to the front of this field. Mojica and Blackford 7 and 8.
Those guys get sorted out, kind of single file right now. Back in the field, Steve Sheehan side by side with the car number 47 of Chris Overland. Sheehan down on the inside, Overland up on the outside. There's Derek Wood, who just got back in the race right behind him.
And he is currently 1 lap down. Nim, he's riding, trying to get the iDog award, trying maybe to see what his car has against these guys that are up in front of this field. Overland on the outside line, trying to hold that as he slides back in there behind the number 54 of Derek Wood. And you look at that paint scheme, you think, that looks mighty similar to a scheme I've seen before, as the 11 goes underneath the number 47. His favorite driver, Nim, Paul Menard.
Okay, the 11 car there of Brad Davies, he was last year's champion, I believe. He's working his way up and now moves his way up into the 14th position.
And just behind them, look at the number 15. That's the Ultra 4 Sim Tim's Corner Motorsports 15 of Josh Connors. He battles the 16 of Thomas Lewandowski. Little wiggle from Lewandowski. He goes on the apron to try to make this racetrack a little bit shorter, as fantastic racing happening all over this racetrack. Here comes 72 on that battle.
91 car coming down low on the inside here. That's Byron Daly. Byron had a really good race going on last week at Phoenix, but towards the end of the race, he had a little bit of problem on the restart and got into a big wreck. He's trying to put it all together and make it work the whole way through today and pick up that good finish. But Sheehan still struggling to see his car up there on the outside, maybe working a little bit better than it was before, but still losing some spots here.
Oh, 91 and 5. Oh boy, that was close out at corner number 2. Here comes Josh Parker to the inside. Parker in the 23, trying to clear the 5 of Mike Conti. Keep in mind, Conti runs P2 in the points heading in to this evening's racing action. The 2 of Ray Alfala makes a move on the 33 of Brian Blackford, just in front of the battle between 23 and 5. 5 still stuck on the high side. Here comes the 6 of Steve Sheehan.
Sheehan down there on the inside. I thought that Conti car and Sheehan's car kind of looked similar up there. I got them confused a little bit out there. But Conti struggling up on the outside there. And it looks like Sheehan may have made some adjustments. Got that car working pretty good right now.
Here comes 54. Keep in mind, 54 is not on the lead lap right now. He has scored 1 lap behind the pace. There's a big wiggle underneath the number 5 from that number 54. The 11 of Brad Davies trying to find a place to race. Maybe get past his teammate to battle with that number 5.
Yeah, Davies there coming down the tri-oval, almost got into the fence in that little short shoot there. You can get yourself caught up pretty quick if you try to move high while you're in the tri-oval. You get caught out by that wall. It comes up pretty quick there.
So that battle has subsided for the time being, as looking back here, fantastic racing about mid-pack. I see the 30 of Robert Hall is trying to make a move. How about your point leader right now? Let's go back to the number 28 of Jeremy Allen. He just made a move on the number 7 of Chad Coleman. So your point leader, we talked about having a dismal qualifying effort, Nim. He's starting to work his way through the field right now at P24.
Yeah, he's still got a long way to go. Jeremy can be a pretty smart driver. At times, very quick all the time, and right now he's probably just working his way through the field. Right now, the 24th spot, lap number 30 here, still have 103 laps to go, so he still knows there's a long way to go yet.
Just in front of them, Robert Hall in the number 30, looking to make a move onto the apron on Daniel Pope II. Side by side for position number 21, as Daniel Pope will lose position 20 to Robert Hall. 18 back to P21. Thomas Hazard's lurking there as well.
Looks like car number 16 making a move down the front straightaway on the lap car. That's Thomas Lewandowski in the 16 car. He's trying to make a move under Derek Wood. Derek Wood a couple laps ago got real loose as he was fighting, so he's losing some spots right now and might be a little bit loose on that car.
72 underneath the 54, and almost a little contact there if there wasn't. Oh boy, 54 making it tough on some of these guys here to make it past, and really rightfully so, Nim. These drivers, if we do get a long green flag run, and everybody that I talk to anticipates a green flag run, 54-72 nearly scared me off corner number 4. Derek Wood really wants to keep right where he is to make sure he is the iDog.
Yeah, this winter we had the new tire model, on this car, tuned a little bit, and you can see how good it is, how good the car handling. These drivers are fighting the wheel inside these cars, and they're able to move all over the track. And the new tire model in this car and iRacing 2.0, you can see how good it comes together when racing with all these cars on this big track.
Brian Schoenberg testing the apron. Josh Connor's going to test the outside of the Oboto Gaming Cockpit's number 55 as this battle continues to heat up. Barry on the inside of the 54 as the number 2 car, I do believe, is getting into it as well.
Yeah, these guys are fighting pretty hard. Barry wants by Derek Wood right now. These guys are not the closest of friends, and I'm sure Barry right now has had enough of being held up by the lap car. Wood just trying to do the best that he can back there, and now we have Schoenberg and another car down, and Wood gets loose again and almost takes out Schoenberg there.
Who said these guys weren't racing hard for position, Nim? Every position on every lap counts. Schoenberg in the number 55 is trying to take a position. 15 of Josh Connors is side by side with the 54.
Yeah, the 54 car is struggling right now. He's really loose, just trying to hold on right now. The 6 car of Steve Sheehan was having some connection problems there, electrical issues going on with his connection here to the server, but looks like it's cleared back up and he's okay.
And looking at 2 different battles here, you see the 2 on your screen, the 2 and the 01, that was a battle there. And Josh Connors, those tires look almost similar in the color scheme. The only difference is the sponsors on those race cars. The 2 sponsored by Pro Geek Consulting, 15 sponsored by Ultra Force Simulation. They're both painted by J.D. Laird. Fantastic battles all around this racetrack. We saw the 15 moving up a little bit as we got 3 wide, almost 3 wide back here between Schoenberg, Robert Hall, and Derek Wood.
Yeah, that's where the action is right now on the track. Schoenberg and everybody trying to get around Wood right there. And Wood gets up on the fence, and now he's going around. That takes around Pope and Schoenberg spinning down the back straightaway with him.
Caution flag will fly. Derek Wood going to come back up in the middle of the track, as is Brian Schoenberg. The 18 also involved in this one, and they are lucky that I don't want to say that rule might have helped them, Nim, but the 54 and 55 coming back up onto the racetrack, those guys that were behind them, they slowed down.
Yeah, they did a good job in that wreck, but you see it coming. Wood's been loose for laps and laps and laps, and as you see him, as in the replay right here, coming off corner number 2, Wood gets into the fence, and that abruptly slows his car a little bit, and Schoenberg had nowhere to go. He tries to get Wood down. You see the car wiggle as he hits the brakes, and then right behind him, the 18 of Pope, he had nowhere to go, and they all go spinning down the back straightaway. I don't think any of them had any real heavy contact. The Derek Wood car may have there at the end as he got back up into the wall, but Schoenberg and Pope might be pretty good from the spin.
Good, clean, hard racing, and a little bit of contact leads to a caution flag on lap number 38. And here come the leaders: Nick Ottinger, John Adams, Kevin King, Pat Baldwin, and the champ, Ray Alfala, going to come down onto pit road here on lap number 38. 95 laps to go when Ottinger comes across the stripe in the Rheem Chevrolet Impala. There it is right there, as we will come down to the attention of the crews this time. Ottinger and Adams drag race down.
Yeah, Ray Alfala up in the 5th spot. He's been on the move lately. He started, let's see where he started back, but the crew making fun. He started in the 6th spot, so he's still about the same. So, but right there, Ray runs a pretty smart race. He'll probably be there by the end of the race.
Davidowitz, P1 off pit road. He may have taken fuel only. No, he missed his pit box totally in the number 25 of Richie Davidowitz. So he is the first off pit road as everybody else tries to get out of pit road. Ottinger's slow coming off. '05 must have a penalty here, Nam. It might be speeding on pit road as he's letting everybody pass. If this is the case, that is a heartbreaker for Nick Ottinger. The good news is he's got about 95 laps to make it all up.
Yeah, he does have a long time to make it all up, but that's a lot of work. And you see all the fighting that was going on in the back of the field. Now he doesn't have that clean air to worry about. Now he's got to worry about the dirty air. Excuse me. He's got to worry about just getting up through the field, missing the incidents that we saw just happen, and all the tough racing that goes on up through the field. So it's not good trying to go from the back to the front here.
Your new leader is car number 55 of Brian Schoenberg. He stayed out on the racetrack. The Mohican Missile, Pedro Mojica second, John Adams, Kevin King, Pat Baldwin, top 5. And the one thing I've learned about Nick Ottinger after interviewing him for Tim's Corner Unplugged, talking to him on the air after races and before races, he's one of those drivers that really doesn't get worked up about a whole lot of things. This penalty, his crew chief Matt Holden is probably calming him down, telling him we got a long way to go, and try to get back up to the front of the field. Nick is not one of those drivers to let a whole lot of things bother him. I don't think a speeding penalty is going to bother him. Coming through traffic, though, and we talk about this series being the top 50 drivers of throughout the world on iRacing, it's going to be easier said than done to carve your way from 37th.
Yeah, that's a tough job. Brian Schoenberg out front right now after that spin, maybe just trying to get that lap led. He did pit on lap 16, but I believe he's just probably going to enter the pits here. We'll see if he does as he comes around. But just probably since he's probably got some burn marks from those tires, staying out. So that's not it. He's staying out, and maybe since he spun down through the grass, he really didn't tear up his tires too bad, and he decided to stay on the track.
We talked about Chris Overland's idol being Paul Menard. Brian Schoenberg's idol is Lance McGrew, the former crew chief for Mark Martin. He crew chiefs for Chase Elliott now in the K&N Pro Series. I don't know if that was a call that maybe Lance McGrew would make, but he's going to stay out on the racetrack, and we're going to go green this time by. 55 of Brian Schoenberg in the lead. Second belongs to the 24 of Pedro Mojica, Adams, King, Baldwin, top 5. Just got another tweet as well, Nim, from Josh Parker. That last run was good. He says he's going to feel out the race car. He's going to feel out the race car from P10.
That's pretty good, and pretty good position. We did find out why Schoenberg stayed out. He forgot that you couldn't pit on the last lap before green here in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. So he did want to pit, but the pit road was closed, so he's going to have to stay out in those tires and see what happens.
Pace car is going to head to pit road right here, and Schoenberg's going to go even before the pace car peels off. I don't know if that's a penalty or not, Nim, but the green flag is out, and Schoenberg is gone like a rocket.
Yeah, he's probably trying to space himself out here. Maybe he's going to make a pit stop under green here. Not sure, but jumping is jumping, so we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, he is definitely going to pit this lap, and he was trying to gap the field before he had to pit, maybe trying not to cause any problems for the people behind him.
We're single file throughout the top 5. I believe the first to make a move may have been Ray Alfala in the 2. The 2 was looking on the 0-1. Now the 0-1 looking on the 52 as here comes Schoenberg. Guess the officials didn't like that. He's coming down pit road to serve a black flag.
Yeah, he probably didn't have tires to race, so he knew he was going to get black flag. He knew he had to make a pit stop either way, so he's probably just taking it all in now. But that's not a good sequence of events there for Brian Schoenberg, who I believe is in the top 5 of points in this series. So, yeah, Brian Schoenberg, 3rd in points right now, struggling. This could be a big hit to his points chase.
Mojica falling back through the field. He's back to 5th already. 6th place as Ray Alfala passes him, as he will continue to fall back through the field. Brad Wright making the move now as well. Schoenberg coming off of pit road. John Adams is your leader in the number 84 car. 0.4 of a second gone. He joined a new team this week, Nim. He's now with Flipside Motorsports, the same team that Alex Warren and Chris Overland are running. So Adams, it looks like the team change may have helped.
Yeah, definitely. Those guys are definitely quick and definitely will work well together. John Adams right now out to about 4 or 5 car lengths, and we saw earlier in the Pro Series this last winter, the qualifying series for this series, that John Adams is definitely a wheelman, and he can get up there and be pretty quick.
You ride on the roof of the D&D Repair Incorporated number 48 of Brad Wright. looking at the 0-1 of Tyler Hudson. Hudson trying to hold that position. He's got Ray Alfala just in front of him. And then you have the battle for second. Pat Baldwin trying to take it away from Kevin King.
Yeah, Baldwin's pretty strong. I've noticed early in the race that whenever he's behind somebody, he's putting a lot of pressure on whoever he's behind. Right now, putting the pressure to Kevin King as they come off of corner number 2. But Baldwin definitely strong right here in this race.
Here comes Baldwin, 52 under 29, side by side for second. The Sim Chassis, number 52, looking for a spot on the number 29 of Kevin King. Side by side for the position. Oh, King got the wall. Here comes a 2 of Ray Alfala. Alfala underneath King for P3.
Yeah, these cars are filled with some type of absorbent like styrofoam on the right side, so they can take a beating on the right side. But if you get those wheels hit as you're coming into the hitting the walls, it can damage the car a lot, so you don't want to do that, but they can be pretty tough. It looks like King's okay.
King falls back to position number 4 as Ray Alfala is looking underneath you right from Kevin King. You look back at Tyler Hudson as Alfala goes for second. Alfala to second on the 52. Here comes 29. Kevin King licking his chops. He's not going to get there on Pat Baldwin. Baldwin to third. Ray Alfala to second.
Yeah, Ray Alfala, last year's season champion, up to second place.
52 of Pat Baldwin falls back to third, and Pat was really tough in that Pro Series and showing it here, as was John Adams, your leader. Kevin King, same for him. Pro Series graduate, runs in position number 4, and Tyler Hudson runs in 5th. It looks like it's getting dicey between Brian Blackford and Josh Parker, 33-23, as they battle for position 7 and 8.
Yeah, they get sorted out. There's a bee's nest of cars right behind them, though, back in about the 20th position or so. All these guys fighting really hard back here, and that's the great thing about the motorsports is you run up front, run anywhere back through the field. You're racing hard for whatever position it is that you're fighting for, and it's a lot of fun.
And let's look back here at P20. Thomas Lewandowski and Marcus Lindsay go side by side. Charles Cosper in the 03. Chad Coleman in the number 7 back there as well, going at it for position. Drivers who really need good runs here, Nim, to change their momentum around P20 right now.
Yeah, I remember we talked about Nick Ottinger and the problems that he had on that last caution flag. Right now, he's moved his way up to the 31st spot, so it's going to be a struggle for him to make it up to the field.
23-6-11. They go nose to tail for position. They just passed the 33 of Brian Blackford. The Simplex Media Solutions, number 33, falling back a little bit, maybe anticipating a green flag run here, Nim, to maybe save those tires and let the life of those tires go a little bit farther than everybody else. Here's 6 underneath the 23.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get a green flag run. These guys have shown that they will have long green flag runs. The 6 and the 23 make some contact there in corner number 1. The 6 car able to hold on. The 23 car, who is that in the 23 car? That is Josh Parker out there, made a good save.
And I'm sure we'll be hearing about that through the tweets. The 11 underneath now the 23. Here comes 33 of Brian Blackford. Blackford looking at it for position. The 5 of Conti back there as well. You look back from the 11, the JRM Realtree, number 11.
Steve Sheehan's spotter did let Josh Parker know that was an accident. He did apologize for that, so Sheehan taking responsibility for that contact in turn 1 last time by.
We're looking at the 5 right now of Mike Conti as he runs in position number 11. He's got Josh Berry behind him, Byron Daly, the 91. Talked to Byron earlier in the week in that number 91 car. He says he really doesn't like Chicagoland just for the fact that it's easy to overdrive him, but he tends to get good finishes here, and so far so good. He's riding in the top 15.
Yeah, it's a very challenging track, and you do have to be smart about it because it's so big and there's so much banking that you just want to hammer the car down into the corner and use up those tires. But you really have to be a finesse driver working your way around this tracks. And we saw these guys as they come up out the corners side by side. They're really fighting the cars, and you can see them wiggle and you see them struggle. When we can see it visually, that means they are using up these tires. But they need to be smooth, and right now as you see them going around, they're nice and smooth, and they're saving those tires. But when we see them wiggle, they are using up the tires, and it's even exaggerated inside the car.
New leader up in front, it's car number 2 of Ray Alfala, the Pro Geek Consulting. Chevrolet Impala leads John Adams in the number 84. Pat Baldwin runs in position number 3. It looks like John Adams may have used up what he had in that race car. Talk about drivers maybe saving some stuff for a possible long green flag run. Possibly Adams was thinking the opposite way. Maybe he was thinking short run. Adams back to second now and falling into the clutches of Pat Baldwin.
You know, Ray Alfala looks strong right now. He looks like Ray Alfala last year, where he can just come up, take the lead of a race, and absolutely just dominate it. And right now, he just came up to the field from 4 or 5 spots there, took away the lead from the race, and now he's stretching it out.
Just behind them, the 01 giving a little bump to the 29. Oh, Tyler Hudson trying to go underneath the number 29 of Kevin King. Nothing going to do there. Great corner entry for the Alpine Stars. Number 29 going to maintain that position. 48 of Brad Wright now looks over the 01 of Hudson for position number 5. Wright wants to get B5 away from the 01.
Yeah, those guys bow down through corner number 3 and 4, coming up out of 4. Hudson all the way up to the wall. That lets Brad Wright get a little bit of a run down through the tri-oval, but he's not going to have enough of a run to make anything happen here.
Lap number 58 being worked on the board right now of 1:33. Kevin King, 01 of Tyler Hudson, and the 48 battle. Great run for Hudson down the back straightaway. He's going to use it into corner number 3. Side by side as he is going to... It looked like he was about to slide up mid-corner, but great run for Hudson. Fantastic pass. Here comes 48. Here comes 6. We're going to have a 4-car battle for position in number 4.
Yeah, I thought the 48 car there was going to go to the apron and try to make it 3 wide, but he thought a little bit better of that, backed out of it. He's going to take that position on the 29 car as they come off of corner number 3 and 4 there. 29 may have got a piece of wall again coming off of corner number 2, but the 48 car will pick up that position as long as Sheehan. Also, now Brad Davies is going to come by.
Davies going to pick up a spot as now Brad Wright looking racy. Brad Wright looking to pick up a spot on the 01 of Tyler Hudson, as Hudson now tries to hold off the 4 cars behind him for position number 4 as we work lap number 60.
Yeah, these guys are racing pretty hard here. You know, we talked about how they might be saving tires, how they might be looking at a green flag run. All these guys, they're still giving it their best they can, and if there's a car in front of them, they want to get by. And, you know, we're 60 laps in. We got about 73 laps to go, but, you know, these guys are race car drivers, and we do have a battle for second place right now.
And there goes Pat Baldwin underneath John Adams to take away the spot. Baldwin up to P2, and it looks like Adams has that short run mentality. He's starting to fall like a stone. P3 right now as Hudson has about a second between himself and Adams now for position number 3.
Yeah, I'll follow up right now. Last time by it was 0.8 of a second. We'll see what it is this time by as they cross the line. Probably be a little bit more now that Baldwin had to battle with Adams there, but 0.975 seconds back to Baldwin, your second place spot. Adams 1.144 seconds behind the leader.
As he tries to track down Pat Baldwin, Baldwin tries to track down Ray Alfala, your leader, your defending champion of this series. Runs in P1 right now, and he came into this evening's race in P6 in the point standing, so looking to make some gains here this evening is car number 2 of Ray Alfala. He leads lap number 62. Baldwin, Adams, Hudson, Wright, top 5, and that might mean here comes Sheehan underneath the 48.
48 car kind of forces his way down right in behind Sheehan, and Davies had to back out a little bit right there.
Here comes the 11 as well. Brad Davies wanting to join the party. Sheehan starting to pull away from the 48 of Brad Wright, trying to close in on Tyler Hudson, the 01 car. Currently sits in position number 4 as he tries to reel in John Adams about a second in front of him.
Tim, I think what these guys probably looking for now, they want to make it to lap number 78, right there about lap number 78, and then they'll be able to make it on fuel. So 78 to 80 is where they're going to be going to make it on fuel, and then after that, they can pit at any time and make it the whole way.
Had a question thrown up from the chat about spotters and or crew chiefs. Do some of these drivers have spotters or crew chiefs? The answer is yes. Some of these drivers do have spotters in the race server, watching and doing a little bit of spotting. Of course, when you join iRacing.com, Nim, you have a spotter that comes with the game that tells you car high, car low, whether there's a caution flag out, when you're going green, all that basic stuff. But it's nice to have that real voice in there as well. 11 underneath 48 for position number 6 is Brad Davies going to take it away. And I mentioned it a little bit earlier. I know Matt Holden is the crew chief for Nick Ottinger, and he acts as a spotter and strategist as well. A lot of these drivers spend hours and hours pouring in to the setups. As you watch the 05 car of Nick Ottinger, they pour hours and hours into the setups, and they also pour in hours into strategy. You just mentioned pit calls. That's one of the things that they watch. I was told by a couple of drivers, 55 laps on the fuel. We might see that around that 55 lap mark, guys begin to come into pit road.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, a lot of these guys race in a number of different series here on iRacing. They'll race out through the week in the NASCAR iRacing A Series and B Series, and they'll use spotters in those series. On iRacing, we have something called spectator sessions, and where you can go in and spectate any of the races that are going on, where there's about 1,200 races to go on throughout the week here at iRacing, and you can go in and spectate any of those races. Well, Brad Davies or Tyler Hudson might go in with a teammate, and they might spot for each other, and or have somebody spot for them, and that's what they'll use those spectator sessions to do. And definitely there'll be some drivers doing that here in this race here right now.
You look from the deck of the 48 of Brad Wright, looking back to Kevin King, and that is the battle for position number 7 right now. And let's add the 11 in there as well. That's the battle for position number 6 as the Realtree number 11 leads his 3-car train down the back straightaway on lap number 68 of 133. Alfala, Baldwin, Adams, Sheehan, Hudson, top 5.
6th on back is Brad Davies, Brad Wright, Kevin King, Josh Parker, and Brian Blackford for the top 10.
Watch this battle here for position at number 7 as King going to make the move on Brad Wright, move Kevin King up to P7. 11th through 15th right now sits Josh Berry, Byron Daly. In the number 91 runs in 12th Robert Hall, Mike Conti, and there's your point leader Jeremy Allen starting to creep up into the picture, P15.
Yeah, he started way back there in the end of the 30s, somewhere back in there, up to 15th. And speaking of a guy coming from the back, Nick Ottinger, remember he had his problems on that last yellow flag. He's up into the 24th spot right now.
And one driver falling back, Pedro Mojica runs in position number 16 right now. So drivers coming and going at this point in the race. Driver that is coming, though, up at the front is the number 6 of Steve Sheehan. Sheehan, Spy Optics, on board that race car. He runs in 4th right now, and that car has come in on the long run. He's got John Adams just in front of him.
Yeah, the 6 car was struggling early on, and he made that whatever adjustments he needed in that first pit stop, and now he's looking good up into the 4th spot.
And had that close call earlier in the race. Steve Sheehan trying to catch John Adams right now in the number 84. I'm sure Adams' team is hoping for a caution flag at this point to maybe make some adjustments on that race car. But right now, he's got a whole lot of spy behind him.
Group of cars way back in the, well, about not way back, but about the 10th position, back to the 15th position as we're on the in-car of Steve Sheehan, and you look ahead to John Adams right there. Oh, caution flag is out.
And it's the 47 car, Chris Overland, bringing out the caution flag. The 32 is also involved in this one of Paul Kashiba, and it looks like 2 drivers fighting for the same piece of real estate. Overland may have come up just a smidge on the number 32, and Kashiba was there, and Kashiba, hard into the wall for the Justin Brooks Designs. Number 32 of Paul Kashiba. That car is bent, but looks like on both ends.
Yeah, the 47 car maybe didn't get as low as he wanted and got up in the 32 car right there, but Kashiba definitely took some heavy damage on that one coming out of 2.
Your top 10. Ray Alfalla leads Pat Baldwin, John Adams, Steve Sheehan, Tyler Hudson, Davies, King, Wright, Parker, Blackford. Top 10 as these drivers should be on pit road. We're a little bit shy of that window that you mentioned, Nim. Lap number 73 of 133 right now. This could make things interesting on the pit strategy, couldn't it?
Well, it's going to be very interesting because I think, and this is only because of the race I ran earlier, so I have a little bit of insight on fuel strategy here. But back then, I was able to stretch it 55 laps on fuel. And the only reason I was do that is because I'm not as fast as a lot of these guys. So these guys will use up a little bit more fuel than that. So on my strategy, I would have to, I'm going to have to pit on lap 78. So this caution may last a few more laps, and we might see some guys ducking in here at the end of this caution, or these guys are going to be hoping for another caution and stay out and maybe save some fuel on the track or under a future caution.
Pro Geek number 2 of Ray Alfalla wins the race off pit road. Pat Baldwin, Tyler Hudson, Brad Davies, and it looks like maybe Steve Sheehan top 5. Brian Schoenberg will get the iDog after that penalty earlier. He will be back on the lead lap. Speaking about back, we're going to step away for just a few moments' time. We're going to refresh our drinks because I think this is going to be a great to the finish. Don't go away. We will be back for Green Flag Racing here on iRacing.com. Welcome back to the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship as Brian Schoenberg comes down pit road to get service on his race car. Ray Alfalla is your leader. Pat Baldwin in second. Hudson, Davey, Sheehan, top 5.
Yep, working lap number 75 right now, and Alfalla running down on the inside. They're all thinking about fuel right now, and they're thinking about what they need to do to get to the end of the race. And I think that you're going to need a few more laps than what they have right now. So we're going to see how it works out here. See some of the guys running down the apron here. We'll see if they're going to top off. I still think it's too top off, though.
It looks like a couple of those drivers might be down there saving a little bit of fuel the shortest way around the racetrack, trying to save just that eensy-weensy bit more fuel to get them to the end. I don't think we're done having caution flags. Let me say that, Nim. I don't think we're done having caution flags. So I think we might have one more pit stop in here. I don't know if they can save what they need to get to the finish. So I think I'm safe to say we might see one more yellow here.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, but the professional drivers these guys are, they gotta try if it's not there yet. And Ray Alfalla right now, he's running around the track, coasting under the clutch, and he'll pick it up just a little bit right now as he picked up the speed there at about 60 mile an hour. Now he's got the clutch in, and he's just coasting, down the back straightaway.
Ray Alfala, Patrick Baldwin, going to be your front row, the Pro Consulting at number 2. Going to be your pole sitter for this restart, Hudson, Davies, Sheehan, Adams, King, Parker, Wright, Berry. Top 10 pace car in Ray Alfala. Gonna lead the field to green here. He goes. Green flag flies. Tyler Hudson in second. Does he look at the number 52 of Pat Baldwin for position number 2? He's got the nose there, and here comes the 11 on the outside. 3-car battle for P2.
Ray Alfala definitely clear down turn 1 and 2. Hudson down to the inside of Baldwin. The outside row, they never really seem to have what they need to stay up with that lead car on the restarts, but now Baldwin gets back in the second place, and Brad Davies is trying to follow him through in third.
Here comes the 0-1 of Tyler Hudson. Big slide at a corner number 4 for the 0-1. The 6 on the inside, trying to follow him through as well. The 11 of Brad Davies going to maintain the spot as it's side by side behind them, 29 and 84.
In car with Tyler Hudson as you look forward to Brad Davies right there coming off of corner number 2 and down the back straightaway. Hudson's getting some pressure from behind right now down the inside. Steve Sheehan, you see Hudson taking the high lane. Sheehan takes up that spot in turn 3 and 4.
The 84 of John Adams, 29 of Kevin King, going to open the door for the 48 of Brad Wright. Could we see 3 wide into corner number 1? No, but here goes Byron Daly. Daly around to the number 91. That'll bring out the caution flag. Oh, big hit for Byron Daly. Up and over, and oh boy, big hit. Damaged on both ends and both sides for Byron Daly. Caution flag will fly, and man, Byron just cannot catch a break.
Yeah, Byron looked like he got a tap from Josh Berry going down there, and Josh is apologizing for that incident right now. But going down the corner, he got tapped just a little bit, and that sent him around.
After last week's incident where he got caught up on the restart, yeah, what a tough break for Byron Daly. He just cannot seem to catch a break. That's the GSRacing.net, Ben Lynch Racing, Tim's Corner Motorsports, number 91. Oh, Pedro Mojica's involved in this one as well. Oh, big hit for Pedro on Charles Cosper in the 03. Cosper went flying in the 03 car. Thomas Hazard involved as well. Oh, big hit for those drivers, especially guys like Thomas Hazard, who needed a great run. Pedro Mojica was running well as well. The Mohican missile, he got shot out of a cannon. So the drivers do stay out on the racetrack, at least at the front of this pack. The 2 of Ray Alfala, the 52 of Pat Baldwin, Davies, Sheehan, Hudson, top 5. And we did have a couple of questions come in from the chat, Nim, about custom paint schemes and custom setups. They're allowed to do that on iRacing, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. Well, we always talk about the teams. And the reason why these guys are on teams and they team up with fellow drivers, the drivers that they compete with, is so that they can work on the setups. The setups are pretty complex in these cars. You know, you're dealing with shocks and rebounds, and you're dealing with, you know, toes and cambers and casters and tire pressures and all kinds of everything that you would be able to adjust on a real NASCAR Sprint Cup car. You can adjust here on this car. And these guys team up and they practice and they practice and they practice and they work on their setups, and they can even adjust the setups during the races and the pit stops. You can adjust, you know, your wedge and some tire pressures and things like that. You know, things that a NASCAR, you know, Sprint Cup car series team might be able to adjust under caution. You can do that here during pit stops also. As far as paint jobs go, things like that, anybody can custom paint their car, and there are some websites out there, Tim, that help you do that.
And you mentioned paint jobs. JDR Graphics is real big. Have you ever seen that Diet Mountain Dew number 88 car that runs on Sundays in the Sprint Cup Series? Yeah, JDR Graphics designed that paint scheme for Dale Earnhardt Jr. And he designed the 2, the 52, the 11, the 6 on the racetrack right now. So your top 4 are JDR Graphics cars. Mason Baker Designs does awesome work as well. I've worked with Mason in the past before. MasonBakerDesigns.com. Does fantastic work. Cyril Nussbaum and Brian Blackford, I believe, are running schemes from him as well. C2C Racing Designs, Justin Brooks Designs. I know I'm missing a bunch of painters because there's just so many of them out there. Those are just the ones that pop into my head as painters that are running here in the series, or at least have cars that are running here in this series. So there's just so many painters out there that if you're looking for ones, there's so many out there. I know JDR Graphics is on Twitter as well at JDR Graphics. Go over and check him out because I know he's been tweeting all night tonight as well. And speaking of tweets, I did have one here from Josh Parker. The last wreck, that was huge. That's what she said. Josh trying to throw a little bit of humor into this here this evening.
Yeah, and once you you're talking about the paint jobs and people, all the painters that make the paint cards and things like that, what they do is they all share them to another website called Trading Paints, and that's where everybody goes and they download paint jobs, not just for this series, but for every series here on iRacing. And then they'll be able to download them and put them on all their cars. But yes. So the answer to that question is yes. You can paint your cars to whatever you want them to be, and everybody will have a central point where they can go download them and view your cars as you're racing out there on the track. And one thing too, we mentioned about setup and things like that, and how complex it is for this series. When you first start out, you race in some fixed setup series. So when you first start out here at iRacing, you'll race in the street stock, which is basically a fixed setup series, and then as you move up, you get a few things to adjust on the cars. In late models, you can start working with tire pressures and cambers and things like that. But it starts out easy, and then as you work your way up, it gets a little bit more complex.
And speaking about Trading Paints, we have to give a shout out to Steve Lavender. He's the creator of Trading Paints along with Sean Brandt. He won a iRacing race last night, I believe it was with Average Joe's Racing League. So Steve can not only do the programming and do all that stuff, he's a pretty good wheelman as well. He won his split of the Daytona 500, Matt Racing Kid Thomas is telling me as well. So I want to say hello to Steve Lavender, and I need to send a special shout out to Lindsay Jean, who's watching us here this evening as well. Her first NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship race. She picked a pretty good one to watch here this evening. Lights are out atop the first racing Ford Mustang pace car. Ray Alfala is your leader. Pat Baldwin in second as Davies, Sheehan, and Hudson complete your top five. We're going to go green here this time. Nim, bring us to green.
They come out still saving some gas. You saw Ray Alfala there as he comes through 3 and 4. They're still trying to save some gas, so they're not sure they can make a hit from here. The pace car is off. Ray Alfala is on the gas. Patrick Baldwin gets a little bit better jump on him. On this time, he'll be able to hold on to that second position with Brad Davies down on the inside.
Here comes the 0-1 of Tyler Hudson. Hudson trying to get position number 4 away from Steve Sheehan. Sheehan has it for the time being. Hudson back to 5th. King back to 6th. Oh, John Adams. Adams, save it, save it, save it. Oh, great save off the wall by John Adams.
There is one car spinning back in the pack, but John Adams did lose it there coming off of 2.
The 4 car, the 77, the 1 involved. Andrew Fayash, the 3rd, was up against the wall down there on the back straightaway. Florian Goddard. Marcus Lindsay's tracking the wrong way as well. This will bring out the caution flag again here on lap number 84.
Yeah, it looked like in that second incident back here coming off of corner number 2, it looked like the 4 car of Florian Goddard got down there on the apron just a little bit, and Andrew Fayash, the 3rd, had nowhere to go and got up into that car a little bit. The 1 car got a piece of the wall. It looked like a number of different incidents happened. Schoenberg got a piece of it and goes moving through the infield there.
And Brian Schoenberg's been everywhere this evening. He's been on pit road under green. He's been out in front of the field. He's been through the grass under caution. Brian Schoenberg is definitely getting Mark's run everywhere on this racetrack, and I don't think that's really a good thing. As Ray Alfala on the A trying to save fuel under this caution, he leads Patrick Baldwin. In the number 52, Brad Davies, Steve Sheehan, Tyler Hudson, your top 5 as we work to complete 85 right here.
Marcus Lindsay, a lot of damage to his car as he has a lot of tow-out going on. Whenever you see these guys getting a wreck, it affects their license rating. Every driver and every member here on iRacing has a license. And when you start out, you start out in a rookie license, and you are able to race certain cars and certain series that license allows you to race. And as the drivers move up, they earn different licenses all the way up from rookie, D, C, B, A, and your pro license, which these guys have right here. So every time these guys get in a wreck or they go down the grass, it affects their license, and they get what's called incident points. And the higher license you have, when you get in a wreck, it affects you even more. So when you see Schoenberg driving down through the grass or these incidents happen, it affects their license rating for these drivers. And these drivers have to maintain their license, which they can lose if they gather up too many incident points. They have to maintain their license to be able to race in this series.
And as you mentioned as well, a lot of these drivers, they don't race just here. There are some drivers that just focus on this Class A car and this NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. But there's a lot of guys that race outside this series, Chad Coleman being one of them that comes to mind. You look at Ray Alfalla. Ray Alfalla does a lot of C-fixed racing in the truck class. There's a fixed setup division where everybody runs the same setup. In the races, Ray Alfalla does a lot of that racing. I've seen guys like Brian Blackford, Josh Berry, John Adams is known for racing a lot of those races, just to get out and get some seat time. And more often than not, it's those guys kicking back and having some fun. And we keep mentioning about you could race with guys like Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Justin Wilson and Bobby Labonte and a bunch of great racers. But you can also race against these drivers that are on the racetrack right now, the so-called pros of iRacing.
Oh yeah, definitely. I find myself in races with these guys all the time, and they're very quick, and it's very fun to race with them. Just trying to keep up with them. And though you meet them in practice sessions, they'll even help you out sometimes. But it's fun racing with these guys, and like you said, some of them, a couple of these guys that we find here, will even find themselves racing in the top divisions over on the roadside.
And if you like road racing, that series has been fantastic so far. So if you want to get involved in iRacing, whether it is on the oval side or the road side, head over to iRacing.com, and you could very well see yourself racing here in the next couple of months if you really put your mind to it and you get the setups the handling the way you want them to. We should have the pace car lights off this time by, so we should be back to green in 1 lap time. 87 complete right here. Alfalla, Baldwin, your top two.
Yeah. Now remember, all these guys, we talked about earlier, all these guys are racing from the comforts of their own home. So we don't have as many car failures and things like that as you might see in the real world, at part failures and things like that. But we do have different things to contend with, and sometimes you could have a power failure, or you could have some type of internet problem, which would cost you to be dropped from the race. And that's the same type of consideration that in the real world, in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, they might have some type of mechanical problem. Where here we could have some type of electrical issue that drops us out, and we're lucky that the internet is pretty reliable now, a lot better than it was way back when we remember Tim racing back in the older days, where we had all kinds of problems with connect issues and things like that. But it's pretty rare that somebody gets dropped right now. And when that happens, it does happen. Everybody expects it every once in a great while, but it doesn't happen that often.
So Alfalla and Baldwin will line up on the front row with Davies and Sheehan in row number 2, Hudson King, Wright and Conti, Blackford and Parker top 10. Pace car in. Here comes Ray Alfalla to the line. Baldwin keeping right with him. Here comes Alfalla. Green flag flies. Baldwin keeping right pace with him. I think this is the first time that we've seen this.
Yeah, I think we have trouble back in the pack there. The car 10 is spinning by itself down through the grass.
Still green as Hudson and the 6 nearly got together.
And Connor McKenzie, what happened, the reason why the yellow's out is McKenzie may have stuck his car back up on the track. I'm not sure. We'll have to see how that works. But McKenzie was spinning down the grass there and came back up on the track, and that's why the yellow flag did come back out.
And he is the lone Canadian running in the field here this evening from Truro, Nova Scotia, as he will have to get his bearings and try to come through the field. He used to be the young one, Connor McKenzie, started racing in this series at 15, and now guys like Michael Conti are coming up through the field. I don't know if you want to call them kids like Michael Conti coming up through being 15 racing in this series, but a big deal for them as well. And not only is Michael Conti racing in this series, he's vying for a championship coming into this evening, only 2 points back.
Yeah, Michael Conti is definitely a very, very good driver, and you'll find people here at iRacing, anywhere from any age range. People in like Michael's age, about 15, maybe a little bit younger, all the way up to guys in their 60s and 70s racing here on iRacing, and they even have some leagues for some older guys on here, some leagues for some younger guys. So, whatever your flavor is or whatever you enjoy, you'll definitely be able to find it here at iRacing somewhere.
You're in the league for the older guys, right?
Maybe I should be.
I might stand a better chance if I was in one of those. Let's take the opportunity to step away for just a few moments' time, and we'll be back to some green flag racing here on iRacing.com. Here's a winner. Jeremy is Richard Welcome back to iRacing.com and PSR TV's live coverage of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship from the Chicagoland Speedway. Tim Terry and Nim Cross here calling all the action for you. Ray Alfala, Patrick Baldwin, your front row, as I believe the pace car lights will go off this time by, and we will go back to green flag racing as we're getting a bunch of tweets coming in here, Nim, for the $25 iRacing gift card. If you have not sent your tweet in already, you might want to head over to Twitter. If you have a Twitter account, it takes a couple of moments to set up if you don't have one already. Hashtag Chicago NiSWC, and give us your thoughts on the race. Tell us what you're thinking watching the race. I know one tweet we had from JLou130 saying the Chicagoland NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship race so far is a brawl. Ray Alfala is looking crazy good right now, and it's going to be a good finish. So you want to stay tuned and take his advice. It's going to be a fantastic finish here that we have. Alfala, Baldwin, Davies, Sheehan, Hudson, top 5. Any one of those drivers could win. Any one of the 40 drivers that are on the lead lap, and I take that back. There's only 33 drivers on the lead lap right now. Hazard, 6 back. Lindsay, Lewandowski, Mojica, Daly, Cosper, Nussbaum, Prather, Wood, Gorlinski, all multiple laps down. 33 drivers are on the lead lap. 41 laps to go. Pace car going to retreat to the safety of the infield here, and Alfala going to be back in control of this field. The Pro Geek Consulting Chevrolet Impala leads them down. Green flag flies. A little bit of a stack up on the inside line. 33 of Blackford.
Yeah, they're getting down to the end of the race here, and they're getting less patient with each other, and they're just causing problems back in the back. The 72 looks like had to check or got in the back of the 33, but the 33 had almost got in the back of the 48 and hit the brakes. So yeah, the guys were just trying to be a little bit too impatient there on that start. Some guys trying to go, and when it wasn't time to go, and the one guy checked up, and the 72 got in the backup.
That's a tough break for Brian Blackford and Chad Coleman, those two drivers on MC Racing, and I'm sure there's some debate going on now between those two drivers and their team as they discuss what happened under this caution flag as we work under lap number 94. Brian Blackford going to come to pit road. No, he's going to throw a fake down there. He's has some damage to that race car. We'll see how much damage he has as we continue on here. Alfala, Baldwin, Davies, Sheehan, Hudson continue to be your top 5.
Yeah, it looks like Blackford though on that. He went, and the cars in front of him didn't. So he tried to get a little bit of jump on that start, and he had to hit the brakes. When you're following a guy that goes, you go too. And the 72 car of Josh Parker went when the car in front of him went. It's really hard to see through these cars because of big spoilers and stuff like that. So when the car in front of you goes, you go too. And then the 33 car hit the brakes because he went too early, and the 72 car had nowhere to go and got into the back of him, and that's what caused it. But Blackford went too early, and that's what caused the issue.
It looks like Jeremy Allen picked up some damage on that caution flag. He is down on a pit road getting damage repaired. I see we have a couple of in-race reporters here with us here this evening. Let's see if we can't get Mike Conti dialed up here in the number 5 with Jeremy Allen having that altercation in that wreck. Let's see if we can't get a hold of maybe Mike Conti and see what his thoughts are late into this race on lap number 96. Mike Conti, it's Tim Terry up here in the PSR TV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Jeremy Allen involved in that last wreck. I don't know how much you're thinking of points right now, but second in points by 2 points. Jeremy Allen's outside the top 30. Has that come into your thought at all?
Well, to tell you the truth, until you told me that he got wrecked, I had no clue. I'm flying solo tonight. Don't have too many people helping me here, but I'm just worried about getting to the end of this race here. The way that these cautions are flying, I don't know when a caution's going to come out, where I'm going to have to restart. So whatever happens to him. I just got to worry about myself and keep myself clean and continue to go to the front.
How's the setup underneath that number 5? Is it good on the short run? It seems like we've been getting some short runs here. We're going to have no more than about 35 laps or 37 laps when we go back to green flag racing. How good is the short run set?
It's not bad on the short run. I made a little bit of an adjustment earlier in the race, kind of thinking that we're going to have more long runs. So I think I was better on the short runs in the beginning of the race, but still, I think the cars are kind of short run for about 20 laps. Then it seems like the right rear wants to fall off of it, and I can't get up off the corners. And the way we got to drive this track right now, you really got to get up off the corners to set someone up going into the next corner. So it's not too bad. I've had worse and I've had better, so we're just going to hang on here and try to bring her home in one piece.
We had a question come in from the chat asking about, are these drivers racing really for that $10,500, or are they racing more for bragging rights? We'll put you on the spot here. What's more important here, bragging rights amongst your peers, or maybe that $10,500 that lays in the balance?
That's a really good question. I mean, you can't dismiss the amount of money that the champion gets. I mean, that 10 grand, that's a lot of money. And I'm sure everyone here wants that money, but then, you got the bragging rights, and, for a year, you can say to everyone in the iRacing service, look, I'm the, NiDWC champion, of 2012. So for me personally, I think it's a little bit of both. I really can't place my finger on what I'd rather, have right now. But the money's good and the bragging rights are good, so either way, you're going to be all right.
Before we let you go, I know you have some sponsors on that race car. Who makes it happen for the 5 team?
I think JDR Graphics are coming on here, first couple races of the season, DCS Computers, CB Photography, and the Bethwood. Got to thank all of them and thank my parents and everyone out there watching.
That's Mike Conti, driver of the number 5. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And he will restart from position at number 7. Ray Alfala leads this field. Patrick Baldwin in a second. Davies, Sheehan, Hudson top 5. With Kevin King, Michael Conti, Brad Wright, Josh Parker, Josh Berry, your top 10. As we work under the caution coming to the green flag. And I know I just got a tweet in from JDR Graphics. It's he's looking for some wheel-to-wheel action here in the last few laps and speed it up from the caution speed that we're running them. I think we're getting ready to see some high-speed action here in these closing laps.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get some in without these guys running into each other too much. Andrew Fash III did get the wave around last time. He got the lucky dog, so he got one of his laps back. Ray Alfala leads him off of corner number 4 here. The pace car will be leaving the track too. Starting lap number 99 this time by.
Here comes the green, and Pat Baldwin once again keeps pace with the 2 of Ray Alfala. Man, Pat Baldwin on the outside line's getting good at these restarts. Alfala going to lead him into corner number 1. Pat Baldwin right there. Ball in behind. Davies to 3rd. Sheehan to 4. And Hudson to 5.
Yeah, that's about as good as you can do it there, Pat. When Ray did, and they got down the corner and got side by side, or got single file there real quick. As Steve Sheehan now, he works his way up in the 3rd position, and Brad Davies is going to have to fall back to 4th.
Davies going to cross over the 6 of Steve Sheehan, or at least tried it there, as he is all over the back of the Spy Optic number 6. Brad Davies, former winner of this race back 1 season ago, trying to go back-to-back at Chicagoland.
Back for about the 6th and 7th position right there. We have Kevin King up on the outside and Brad Wright down on the inside. Brad Wright will take that spot. Battle for position up front, though. 3rd spot, that is Brad Davies taking away the 3rd spot from Steve Sheehan.
Josh Parker is also looking for a position. 23 looks hungry in the late laps of this race. Underneath Kevin King and the number 29, they go side by side. The 05 of Nick Ottinger, here he comes, looking for a spot.
Yeah, Ottinger was your race leader earlier. Your pole sitter had trouble under earlier yellow flag. Got black flag sent back to the rear of the field. Now he's worked his way back up into the top 10.
Robert Hall is there as well. Robert Hall, great late race run. Carson McClellan, number 46. What a run for Carson McClellan, just outside the top 10, as it looks like a pass for 3rd is happening up in front. Davies and Sheehan. Davies is way high, the 6 on the inside, trying to make something happen.
Back in now for 10th position, the 05 car scraped the wall. That allowed the 29 car of Kevin King to get back under him, and now the 30 car of Robert Hall now fighting Nick Ottinger for that 10th spot.
'05 is running hard to get back up to the top positions as we have battles up near the front of this field. Mike Conti has turned up the wick as well. The 5 and the 01 are going at it.
Yep, the 01 car, Tyler Hudson holding on to that 5th spot. Michael Conti in the 6th spot, trying to work it away from him, but not challenging right now. Actually, they're good on the inside. Tyler Hudson moves down there to block. Conti right there, still not able to make a challenge going into corner number 1.
Trying to play a little mind games maybe with the 01 and the 5 as they battle for position number 5. Down the back straightaway, Conti flashes the nose. Underneath the 01, looking for that spot. You ride on the roof of the JDR Graphics number 5 of Mike Conti, as he's not making the move now, but He might have to make the move soon, Nim. Here comes Wright, and here comes the 23, and the 5 now underneath the 01.
Yeah, you see the 48 car down using the apron. There is no yellow flag rule. Oh, the caution flag is out. There is no yellow line rule here at Chicagoland, so you are able to use the apron.
So the caution flag will fly here once again as we have a driver spinning around on the racetrack trying to get a number here of that race car. As the flag flies, pace car comes back out. And that was 38 and 15 being involved in that wreck. 38 of Chris Mayne, 15 of Josh Connors, and it looks like Josh Connors may have just given the 38 a little bit of a body check going through the tri-oval. So the Sea Giraffe gets into him, and what a save by Chris Mayne. Man, that Spin Master number 38, it didn't spin completely around. Man, that was, you talk about handling these cars, Nim. That was an awesome save by Chris Mayne.
Yeah, it was a pretty good save. He got straightened out, no damage. Probably burned up those tires there a little bit, so he'll have to pit for some new tires. But other than that, he should be good to go.
So your leader continues to be Ray Alfala, Patrick Baldwin in a second, Brad Davies in third, Steve Sheehan in fourth, and Michael Conti completes your top 5. We keep talking about tweets and Twitter, social media. I know we have one person watching the race here this evening, Nim, that was a part of the iRacing Pro Racer Champions. You remember back in December when we had that race at Brandon Davis ended up winning for his charity. I do see that Frank Kimmel II is on Twitter and tweeting us as well. He's enjoying the Chicago NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship race, so give him a follow on Twitter. It's Frank Kimmel 2 on Twitter, so he's watching us here this evening and enjoying what he is seeing on iRacing.com. Ray Alfala, Patrick Baldwin, Brad Davies, Steve Sheehan, and Michael Conti complete your top 5. And just to close off the thought, I'm not sure where Frank Kimmel II finished during that iRacing Pro Racer Champions, but I'm sure he's going to remind me, and I don't think it was Furt.
Brian Blackford got the wave around there on that lap, so Blackford will pick up his lap from being a lap down. He was only 1 lap down, so he should be back on the lead lap now in the 33rd position.
Let's see if we can talk to the driver of the number 6 Spy Optic Chevrolet, Steve Sheehan. It's Tim Terry up here in the PSR TV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do. What's up, guys?
It looked really strong there on the green flag run. It looked really strong in that little short stint. That 6 car just looks good. It doesn't matter if it's a long or a short run.
Yeah, it is. It's really strong. I screwed up at the start and had my setup all backwards, but made some adjustments on the first stop, and I've just been trying to get up there to Ray all race, and that last restart was my best chance, and Brad cut me a break off turn 4, and I still screwed up in turn 2, so he went right back by me.
Hey, Steve Nimcross. Wondering if you guys are still good on fuel. Saw a lot of people saving fuel on the last few cautions. Wondering if you're okay to go now.
Yeah, we needed 2 cautions to go on fuel, and we've had like 14 now, so I think we're good.
Now, looking at position number 4 right now, what do you have to do to pass Ray Alfala, Patrick Baldwin, and Brad Davies to win this thing?
Well, starting on the outside never helps, ever. I'm really forced to not only react to Ray's restart, but I can't take my eyes off Pat, because if Ray gets a jump on Pat and I go with Ray, I'm running right into Pat. So I'm kind of at a huge disadvantage here, starting 4th, but I think last restart was about as good of a chance as I'm going to get. Have some space behind me. That way Brad can go take the inside line, and I can take a huge arc into turn 1 and get him off turn 2. That was the best chance I was going to have. If I can repeat that, I could be looking good, because this car's strong.
We had a fan question come in, and since you're doing the hot lap segment, it might be the best person to ask. There's a slight curve on the back straightaway. How does that affect setting up the race car for this racetrack?
It doesn't affect it too much. It's barely a curve. It more or less affects the passing that's going on because at most tracks, when it's with a straightaway, when it's close to being a dive bomb, and I know there's various definitions of that word, it's tough to really make the decision to make the move if it's close. But with that curve, you can go inside of somebody, use that curve a little bit, go way down low, and you can get that fender that you wouldn't get if the straight was straight.
Getting ready for green, Steve. Before we let you go, who makes it happen for you?
You guys see Optic on the hood, everybody at JRM, and I have to give a shout out to Ray. He's driven his ass off this race. He drove right up through the field, and he has a really good car, so got to welcome him to the team. He is a JRM driver, so hopefully we finish strong.
We're 25 laps away from a finish. Do we see in victory lane?
Yeah, I'll be there one way or another. I'll be creeping if I'm not there celebrating.
We wish you all the best.
Thanks, guys.
That's Steve Sheehan, driver of the number 6 Spy Optic Chevrolet. He runs in position number 4. Alfala, Baldwin, Davies, Sheehan, Conti, your top 5. Pace car going to head to the safety of the infield. Alfala going to put the hammer down. Patrick Baldwin going to keep with him this time? No, he's not. Green flag flies for the 2.
He still gets an okay restart and should be able to hold on to that second position. We talked about our points leader earlier, Jeremy Allen, and his struggles. He wasn't able to beat the pace car during that last caution, and he still stays on the lead lap, but he's still struggling back in there about the 33rd position.
Five and 0-1 side by side. Parker and Wright also do the tango side by side for position at number 7 as you ride on board looking back from the 5.
You see, trouble back there, the 29 and the 05. Ottinger and Kevin King get together there on the tri-oval.
Big junk on the front straightaway. Oh my, Carson McClellan in the number 46. What a good run he had. That's going to go sour here. Richie Davidowitz also involved. Davidowitz was top 10 in points coming in. And, of course, Kevin King. What a shame for Kevin King after running so strong in this event. Rolling back here to look at the replay. It almost looks like what we just saw on the last caution here, Nim, with Josh Connors. The 05 of Ottinger comes down. It looks like he may have got into the number 29 a little bit of Kevin King. And by first look at it, Robert Hall gets involved in this one too. Richie Davidowitz in the 46. Last minute for those two getting involved in this one. I believe that might be Alex Warren going through the grass down there. No, that's Brian Blackford in the number 33 going through the grass to avoid the wreck. But man, these guys are racing so hard, and you can't blame them for racing hard. We're coming down to the last 25 laps of this race. These guys really have to go, especially if you're mid-pack and you want a chance to win this.
Yeah, Odger must not have known King was down there because he just turned down on him. And a lot of the guys, we saw a lot of guys were really aggressive on that lap, and they're trying to pick up positions. And it was kind of that last lap mentality where they're all racing like it's the last lap, but which it's been pretty unusual for these guys. But you can definitely see it there. Guys going to the apron, guys going everywhere. Ottinger must not have known that King was down there, but he turned down into him, and a lot of cars are damaged from that incident.
So Ray Alfala is going to do it again out in front of the field. He's going to lead the field to the green flag on this restart. Patrick Baldwin going to have one more shot on the outside line, or at least one more shot on the outside line. We're going to have less than 20 laps to go when we go back to green. Davies, Sheehan, Conti, top 5. We just saw the I-Dog go around the pace car. That is Thomas Hazard. Hazard multiple laps behind the pace, as he is now 3 laps behind. Brandon Bookberger has scored his 1 lap down, and these drivers that are I'm about to mention are out of the race, 35th on back, or at least multiple laps down. I believe Cyril Nussbaum, the number 99, is still on the racetrack, and he's on pit road getting service to his race car, 14 laps down. All of these other drivers, I believe, are out of the race. Marcus Lindsay, Thomas Lewandowski, Pedro Mojica, Byron Daly, Cosper, Prather, Wood, and Gorlinski, all out of the race. Jeremy Allen is on pit road as well, being told, in the number 28 car. He is your point leader sitting in P31 right now, and he is getting service to the A-Unique computer, number 28.
We had a Twitter question earlier asking if this race is officiated by live officials, and it is. The normal race scoring and normal race control is handled by the computer, but the iDog and a number of issues are handled by some live officials here at the track right now, and so you see the iDog, and this series here is officiated by live racing officials. And that's why we always say also that this series, the race results aren't official until they are sanctioned by NASCAR and iRacing sometime tomorrow.
And we saw that, I believe it was back at Daytona, where one car pushed another car across the line because of a blown engine, and the same rule happens in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, where you cannot push another competitor on the last lap, whether he runs out of gas, blows a motor, whatever the case may be. He cannot push the other competitor across the line, and I believe we saw that alteration in the results back at Daytona, and I can't remember right offhand who it was. I believe it might have been Chad Coleman and John Adams, but I could be wrong in saying that. I know there was two drivers there that were involved in that the car that got pushed lost a few positions in the final running order because he would not have made the last lap under his own power. So it's just like whether you go to a local short track and see your local short track racing that's officiated by live officials, or you go to the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series where you see that. It's the same here in iRacing. We have officials watching the race led up by the chief competition director of this series, Shannon Whitmore. And the next question that we had there, Nim, from the chat is, do any of these drivers race in real life? And I know Daniel Pope II races at Kingsport Speedway. We have Josh Berry that races a JRM late model. Paul Kashiba races legend cars. I know Brian Blackford has done some go-kart racing. I know he's been trying to get Ray Alfala into that as well. And if you ask Brian who the better driver is between himself and Ray, he's going to say himself, and Ray is likely going to say himself too. So I don't know how exactly that works out. Josh Parker is, I believe, going to do some real racing as well this summer in a dare stock at Stafford Motor Speedway, along with some possible go-kart racing. So there's drivers in this field that do race outside of the iRacing service.
Tyler Hudson races, and also Josh Berry races for a late model for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And
so, yeah, there are a lot of drivers that race in real life or real world racing.
And we've seen it with Gregor Hutu back when he won the Drivers' World Championship road racing a couple of seasons ago. He was put into, I believe, a Skip Barber car. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nim.
It's actually a Star Mazda.
Star Mazda. That's how much I know about road racing. I apologize. And he got in the race car for the first time. I'm sure if he gets some more laps, competitive laps, he'd be right up there with the best of them. Pace cars in. Ray Alfala takes a green flag, and we're back underway. Goodbye, rest of the field.
Yeah, we'll see if we can keep green here. Lap number 116, started lap number 116, 133 to go, so about 17 or 18 laps to go from here. Brad Davies moves his way up in the third position, and Michael Conti trying to work his way up in the fifth spot, but not able to make it happen.
Here comes the 6 on the number 11 to the inside, swooping in the Spy Optics Chevrolet. It's side by side between teammates Brad Davies and Steve Sheehan P3.
Oh, and the left car and the 01 car, Tyler Hudson, get up in the fence there a little bit as Josh Parker goes down to the inside, makes it 3 wide coming through the tri-oval.
The 01 of Tyler Hudson trying to get underneath the number 23. Oh, it's getting close. Contact made down the back straightaway. And the 23 going for a ride down the back straightaway. Caution flag is out, and a wild ride for Josh Parker.
Yeah, the 23, he just wasn't lifting. You could tell the whole way through that corner, and he just squeezed Brad Davies up in the wall there. I'm sorry, that's not Brad Davies. That's Brad Wright up into the wall. And you see the 23 wasn't going to lift, and he had a car out there on the outside of him. And, that's Josh had a little bit of a miscommunication there with the spotter, and he wasn't clear, and he moved up the fence, and that's going to cost him a lot of spots. And he needed to pick up a lot of spots, Tim, because he's way back in the points.
Such a tough break for Josh Parker, the 98 of Justin Thompson, and really the 23 was sent for a ride anyway, but you look at that number 98 of Justin Thompson, hit him at the exact point that would send him over again. I'm sure we're going to see a tweet about that from Josh Parker come in, but the GSRacing.net, Tim's Corner Motorsports Chevrolet, they're going to have to come down to pit road and do a little bit of alteration to that race car because it's bent on all four ends.
Yeah, it's, you know, we have races like this every once in a while where, you know, just like in any real World Series, they'll get you know, good races and bad races. But these guys have been doing a great job all season long. We went 70-some laps. We went almost more than three-quarters of the race at Daytona before we ever had a caution. And they're just having a rough one here today at Chicagoland. A lot of these guys, you know, might be feeling the pressure. You know, we ran 2 races before this. We had Daytona and we had Phoenix, and they might, you know, not be doing as well as they thought, and they might be feeling the pressure here. They like Josh Parker is right there. He kind of saw the checker flag in sight, and he kind of saw that good finish coming, and he wanted a little bit more, and he didn't want to lift out of the gas right there. He could have cracked the throttle, lifted out of the gas, and you know, maybe saved that. But you know, sometimes race car drivers, you know, they just want to get all they can, and you know, he got up into the outside car there, up in the Brad Wright, and you know, now he's, instead of fighting for the top 10 spot, he's back in about 30th position right now. So we'll see how that turns out. But you know, they're feeling the pressure, and they're in race number 3, and they want to make it better.
Paul Kashiba got by that as well, as it looks like the lucky dog on this caution flag will be the 82 of Alex Warren. Alex Warren will receive the I-Dog and get back on the lead lap. The GSRacing.net Core Pipe Chevrolet Impala will get back on the same lap as the leaders and be in contention for the win as you look at some more replays of this incident down the back straightaway between Brad Wright and Josh Parker. We keep talking about great innovations in the iRacing service, Nim, and the one thing that came in a couple of builds ago, and you saw it there in the replay, are the hands of these race cars. You can see through replays these guys actually working the wheels of these race cars, and it's something that just came in the last couple of builds, and something great for us, and not only great for us, but something that the spectators, you mentioned the spectators, you can log into a race, you can watch a race, like this NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship if you are a member of iRacing.com, and you can see how much wheel these guys are putting into it to get around a racetrack like Chicagoland.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about earlier. That's a great part of the new physics here at iRacing, iRacing 2.0, the new tire model, the great work Dave Kemmer's done on the tire model, and you know, just the realism is just is very, very, very accurate here at iRacing. And you see these guys fighting the wheels up off of the corner, and they're just back and forth, just as you see on Sunday when you watch the Sprint Cup circuit. And you know, that's why a lot of the real world drivers, you know, the Sprint Cup drivers, they'll practice using this software right here and racing in these series, because they get a good feel for the tracks and the cars, and they'll actually learn a lot racing here at iRacing. They'll be able to take it to the track when they race on Sunday.
And a nice blimp cam shot there of that wreck as well. So fantastic racing cameras on here as well. Pace car lights are off. Next time by, we go back to green flag racing, and we have 13 laps to go. It'll be 12 at the stripe. Ray Alfala and Patrick Baldwin have been great on the restarts, but look who's in third. Steve Sheehan in the number 6, and Steve said Ray's going to be one of those tough drivers to pass. He's been wheeling that race car all night long, but Steve is there. He might be a factor in this before this race is over.
Yeah, Steve is always a factor in these races, and he talked about earlier when we had him in here talking to us, he talked about how off he was in the beginning of the race, and we saw that. We saw him struggling up there on the outside lane, but he made some adjustments on his pit stop, and now he's challenging for this lead right now.
So who's it going to be? Ray Alfala, Patrick Baldwin, Steve Sheehan, Mike Conti in 4th, and Brad Davies in 5th. Hudson, look at Chris Overland. Overland up to position number 7. Daniel Pope the 2nd. Brad Wright. Ray Alfala gone. Green flag flies, and Alfala gets an awesome jump.
Yeah, Ray is doing a great job. As you know, he's going to be a contender again this season, as he was last season. But he gets a good jump. Patrick Baldwin fighting down with Michael Conti for that third position in. Baldwin squeezes him down. Conti able to stay down the white line, not able to make any contact with Baldwin right now. As Sheehan gets a run on Conti. Conti's trying to block just a little bit, going down to the corner number 3.
Tyler Hudson on the outside line. Brad Davies trying to get it on the inside line. We have a wreck in the back. Caution flag will fly, and being told it is the number 7 of Chad Coleman. And yes, Coleman is pointing the wrong direction in the GSRacing.net Chevrolet, and he went for a slide, and your point leader is involved in this one, as is Nick Ottinger. You see the top 3 go, or the 3 cars going at it there. Ottinger going to get some damage, and I believe Jeremy Allen might get a little bit of this.
Yeah, it's again involved Nick Ottinger as they go in the corner. Ottinger's car is definitely damaged and off pace. Ottinger trying to stay up in that outside lane, but they were 2 cars passing him underneath. Maybe he knew that they were there, maybe he didn't, I'm not sure, but Ottinger in the 7 car makes some contact, and that sends the 7 car and the 05 car around.
And the 28 there of Jeremy Allen, he makes a hell of a save after getting a little bit of contact from Chad Coleman. He wheels that car. He might have a little bit of damage to that race car right now, Nim, but he did a hell of a job saving it and keeping it out of the wall.
Yeah, he did a really good job there, and he should get away with pretty little damage there, so we'll see how that works out for him.
So Ray Alfala leads, Patrick Baldwin in second, Michael Conti in third, Steve Sheehan in fourth, Tyler Hudson in fifth. We are going to step away for just a brief moment as Kevin King gets the eye dog. We will be back with the finish, and it's going to be an exciting one. You will not want to miss it. We're going to have about 7 laps to go when we go green. Don't go away. Jeremy Welcome back to PSR TV and iRacing.com for the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. We are coming down to the last 8 laps of this race. Ray Alfala, Pat Baldwin, Mike Conti, Steve Sheehan, Tyler Hudson, your top 5. The tweets continue to roll in. $25 iRacing gift card we are giving away for the best tweet involving hashtag Chicago NiSWC. So if you have not got that tweet in there yet, you still have some time to do it. We got about 8 laps left to go. I do see that Frank Kimmel the second got back to me after I mentioned where he finished in the iRacing Pro Racing Champions, he reminded me that he did finish 4th, 1 spot away from position at number 3. So he corrected me there. I wasn't sure exactly where he finished, but I know he was up there battling with the likes of Scott Speed and Brandon Davis and Bobby Labonte and Tommy Kendall and all those other drivers. If you have not watched that race, you'll want to go back and watch it on PSR TV's archive page. That was a fun race to call, and those guys kicked back, had a lot of fun with that. And speaking about kicking back and having a lot of fun, Nim, it's go time. Alfala and Patrick Baldwin going to lead us to green.
Yep, as we go to the line, we'll finish lap 126, start lap number 127. So about 7 laps to go from here, and or one more caution. What do you think, Tim?
I don't know if we're done seeing the caution flag. We might see 1 or 2 more here. I don't think we're done with the caution flag yet. Let's see what we can come up with here. Ray Alfala and Patrick Baldwin, your front row. Getting ready to see the green again. Can Pat Baldwin keep pace with Ray Alfala on the inside line? Pace car is in. Here we go. Green flag flies, and Alfala shot out of a cannon again. Mike Conti to the inside. Here comes the 5.
Yeah, we'll see if Baldwin gives him or pinches him down in 1 and 2 like he did last time. But this time, Conti has a lot of room going through corner number 1 and 2, but really tight down the bottom. Conti knows if he keeps him tight down there, he won't be able to use that momentum coming off the corner, but Conti is right there with him.
Looks like Brian Blackford was black flagged about mid-pack. He may have changed lanes prior to the start-finish line on the restart. Conti to 2nd, Baldwin to 3rd. Here comes Tyler Hudson. Hudson trying to muscle his way around the 6 car of Steve Sheehan.
Side by sides go down corner number 1. Hudson on the inside, Sheehan on the outside. Now Chris Overland. We haven't called that name much today. Chris Overland trying to make a move on Brad Davies to go around 1 and 2.
Side by side down the back straightaway. Sheehan trying to clear the 0-1 of Tyler Hudson. Davies there as well. Overland trying to make a move in the GSR number 47. As we get single file racing, Ray Alfala has checked out from this field. 5 laps to go.
Conti in 2nd, rear bumper from Tyler Hudson, and you see Brad Davies right there in the sixth position, I believe that is. Brad Davies coming right up on Hudson, trying to get that spot.
Brad Davies wants position number 5 as he works up on Tyler Hudson for the spot. 129 being worked on the board. Sheehan, his car is starting to come in. He wants position number 3 away from Pat Baldwin as it is definitely go time. Hudson to the apron as here comes the 11 of Davies trying to mount a charge.
Steve Sheehan looking down to the inside for the 4th position on Patrick Baldwin. Baldwin has to give him that spot as Sheehan has the position.
Josh Lawton not happy. Black flag from the iRacing officials. I do believe that was a restart call as well, Nim. Baldwin on the back bumper of the 6 of Steve Sheehan. Sheehan just completed the pass to the inside. Not going to happen there for Pat Baldwin. Sheehan now has a couple of laps to close in on the 5 of Mike Conti. This next time by, these drivers will have 2 laps to go. Here comes the 0-1 of Tyler Hudson down almost to the apron on the 52 of Pat Baldwin side by side for position number 4.
Yeah, Baldwin is struggling right now, and he put the block on Hudson right there, and that could be very, very tricky and dangerous as they go down the back straightaway. Baldwin didn't give Hudson much room, but he did give him a little bit, but very tight racing back there, and this is one of the situations where you don't want to throw away a good finish for that one spot.
Davies digging on the outside line, thinking about making it 3 wide here. Davies and the 0-1. Hudson on the inside, Davies on the outside. Patrick Baldwin just in front of them. Leader will see the white flag this time by. Ray Alfala leads. The battle is for 5th. Davies and Hudson side by side. White flag is out, and Hudson Davies nearly bought the farm off corner number 4. He got loose.
Yeah, Davies working that high side, and he's been at the best at it all day long. He's up there again on the high side, trying to get that momentum off of corner number 2.
Down the back straightaway for the final time. Ray Alfala leads. Here comes Sheehan on 2nd place. Mike Conti trying to hold on to it. Up at a corner number 4. the champ will take away the victory here at Chicagoland. His first win of the season, Ray Alfala, goes to victory lane. Second place going to belong to Mike Conti. Third is Steve Sheehan, Patrick Baldwin, and Tyler Hudson complete your top 5, and it was a photo finish for that 5th place position. Hudson Davies mighty close between themselves, just 6/100ths of a second.
And we did have trouble in 3 and 4 that last lap as Paul Kashiba and the 72 car of Josh Berry got together going down into the corner, and Kashiba got in the back of Berry and sent him up into the wall, and that'll take a lot of spots away from Berry at the end of the race here.
Ray Alfala going to light it up here on the front straightaway. Your defending champion of this series, $10,500 last season. He starts off 2012 with a win in race number 3, as he will light it up and salute the fans here on the front straightaway at the virtual Chicagoland Speedway. Race fans, don't go away. We will set up for the post-race show where we will talk to your top 5 finishers. We'll be right back. Welcome back to PSR TV and iRacing.com and our presentation of the post-race show here this evening for the 3rd round of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship at the Chicagoland Speedway. Ray Alfala is your winner. Mike Conti comes home in 2nd. Steve Sheehan 3rd. Pat Baldwin 4th. And Tyler Hudson completes your top 5. Nim Cross is getting ready down in victory lane with your winner for this evening, the 2011 NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Champion, Ray Alfala with Nim Cross. Nim?
Ray, after a couple of tough races, it looks like you got everything looking good, looking like you were the 2011 season again, looking strong, and you bring it here home in Chicago.
Yeah, Nim, thank you. The car was just great. I knew from the start. I started off too tight, and decided to go to pit road on lap 7. And I took a risk because I restarted 23rd, but once I got everything in order, the car was just unbelievable. And, the season hasn't started that bad. That's finished fourth last race, and Daytona could have been a lot better, obviously. But it's just it feels great to get that first win.
Well, heading off to Las Vegas for the next race, pretty similar track to Chicago. So you should be strong there. And your outlook for the rest of the season should be one of strength, where you're looking at it maybe as you were last season, and how you were able to make those strong runs. So about 20 points before the race started out, you gained a bunch on Jeremy Allen. He had a bunch of problems, but looking to make a strong run towards this championship. How do you feel about the rest of the season?
I feel great. I mean, I was worried about the mile and a half because I hadn't really tested anything since season ended at Homestead last year, and the season started at Super Speedway and then at a short track pretty much. So, but I'll be taking this car to Vegas for sure, and I expect good things out of it. It was it was a stressful race. Unfortunately we had those yellows. I don't know why. This track can produce long green runs, and we had like a 40 or 50 lap run at one point, and I don't know why that stopped. It just seems like one yellow, brings another one and brings another one as people crash and have damaged cars, and then they can't control their cars out there. I'm assuming that's what happened. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to the rest of the season, obviously.
Yeah, there's a lot of not give and take out there tonight, and as we know, that happens from time to time. But a lot of great races earlier this season. This one was a little bit of a wreck fest, and you said earlier that you didn't know about that. But I think we'll have better races going forward. Tell us who it happens, or who makes it happen for you, and anything else that you might see.
Yeah, thank you to ProGate Consulting. Loyal sponsor since last year. Glad to give him the first win. JD Laird painted up his beauty. Junior Motorsports, all the guys over there, they helped me out big time. Thanks to them, feels great to get the first win for JRM. And on a solemn note, I guess, I want to dedicate this to a friend of mine, Amy, from high school, who passed away in a car accident Sunday. So we're thinking about you, Amy, and we'll go on to Vegas.
All right, Ray, great job winning Chicagoland. Definitely going to be a factor for the 2012 championship, and we're going to throw it up to Tim Terry, who has the point leader, Michael Conti.
Speaking of that 2012 championship, Mike Conti took one big step forward here this evening. He is your point leader following this race this evening at the Chicagoland Speedway. See if we can't get Mike Conti on the horn here, second place finisher this evening at the Chicagoland Speedway. There we go. We got Mike Conti here on the horn. Point leader. How does it sound?
It's got a nice ring to it. That's amazing. Going into DWC, I never expected to be the points leader. I talked to you a couple of times, Tim, and I just said I wanted to just, take it easy and get a good solid finish, but points leader, that's awesome.
And it keeps coming with these consistent finishes. Second place here this evening. You had Pat Baldwin, who was strong. Steve Sheehan had a great car at the end of that race. What were you thinking those last few laps there, especially coming to that restart with just a handful of laps to go?
Well, it was getting frustrating because you can't go anywhere in the high line because we're all so close. So if you restart in the bottom, you'd be good to go. If you restart in the top, you're kind of in trouble. You really have to get a good restart. So the couple of times I was on top, I had to really focus and get a good restart, and thankfully I did, and Sheehan cut me a break a couple of times. I got to thank him for that, for letting me down. But my car was definitely better in the long run, like I told you. It wasn't really good after 25 laps. So the restarts, as long as I would get a good restart, I could be halfway decent for a few laps. So, as much as so many cautions was frustrating, it really helped me out at the end ultimately.
In 2 weeks' time, we head to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. What do we expect out of that race and out of the 5 team at that venue?
Well, we're trying to change a few things up on the team here. So this week was kind of a rough week for us. We didn't have really a lot of people devoted to the setup, but we took our Class A Vegas setup here and tweaked on it a little bit, and it was pretty decent. And I think we run better at Vegas with the same setup than we did here at Chicago. So I think we're going to be pretty strong next week. I'd say a lot more I think you'll see a lot more of us up front next week. I don't think you're just going to see it at the end. You'll see us all through the race. So hopefully that happens, and hopefully the luck can just keep going our way, and we can just keep dodging these wrecks and keep finishing pretty good.
You mentioned the sponsors when we talked to you under caution. Let you have the opportunity once again to thank those that help you get to the track each week. Who makes it happen for Michael Conti?
I got to thank JD at JDR Graphics for sponsoring me these first 3 races. He's not going to be in the car next week, so we got some room available on there if anyone's interested. CB Photography, the Bethwood, all the family that supports me, DCS Computers that built my computer. Thing runs like a bear. It's awesome. And, you know, all the people that have spent a lot of time and effort getting me situated on here and, you know, getting me set up and help me with setups and everything. So can't thank them enough, and can't thank you guys for putting on a great broadcast.
That's Mike Conti coming home in position at number 2. We're going to kick it down to Nim Cross, who has caught up with Steve Sheehan, driver of the Spy Optics Chevrolet, number 6.
Down here with Steve Sheehan, bringing her home third tonight. Steve, we talked to you earlier in the race, and you told us about your setup woes early on, and then how you were able to make that pit stop adjustment and get them back together through the race. Third place finish, not bad.
No, not bad at all. My car was really coming. It was just too loose. I really, even if nothing else happened, I needed low fuel to really get that to work. I was really planning on a lot more green flag runs. I definitely wasn't planning on having 10 gallons in the tank at the end of the race. I needed about 6 or 7. That's where my cross weight would be right about at a happy spot in the setup where the car would rotate really well. But all in all, it was still a good race. The restarts were frustrating. It just never seemed to really go my way, and when I finally did make some headway, I ended up screwing up and getting crossed over, and got a solid top 5 out of it, so it was good.
You spent a lot of time today fighting with Michael Conti, and he wound up second and you third tonight, but a lot of good battle in there on the racetrack.
Yeah, I haven't raced him much. Honestly, this is the first... that was probably the first time we really raced close for, you know, more than 10 laps. And he's a good driver. He's definitely a contender. He's someone to be reckoned with. As are plenty of guys that just, you know, came into the DWC from the Pro Series. And he's going to be a force all throughout the season. And he's clean and he's very smooth. I could tell as soon as I was driving around him for a couple laps that you can really trust him when he's under you. You can manage to pinch him a little bit without him boning the apron and, you know, bouncing up. And a lot of guys you don't really aren't really able to pinch that much. But no, he ran good. So congrats to him on a good finish.
Vegas in 2 weeks. Are you ready?
Yes, I have been ready for the high speed ovals. I was ready for this track. I'm really getting sick of starting these seasons off digging myself a hole. This is the second season in a row that I've started off back in, 62nd in points, and I just have to, it's an 18 race season, so it's pretty much a chase with 2 drop weeks, and I can't be throwing these races away. So I am ready for all these high speed tracks where hopefully we get some green flag runs.
Yeah, well, today's race will definitely help you a lot in points, and a good finish will always do that. Tell us who makes it happen for you, and anything else.
Well, you guys, PSR TV, iRacing, as always, Spy Optic, JRM, and I do have to give a shout out to, as hopefully most of you guys know, we started a new segment this season, and myself and Brian Blackford have been working pretty hard on it. I gotta apologize for how tired I sounded in this past one that I actually drove. I just started a second job and I was really tired, so this next one coming up at Vegas is going to be Chris Main and his what sponsors he again? Hopefully I get that right in the segment. But yeah, everybody watch that segment. Hey, and actually, not to take up more of you guys' airtime, Brian and I were actually tossing around the idea. This segment actually appeals to especially new sim racers and people interested in getting into it. Some of you, like, especially custom-made computers and stuff like that, anything pertaining to getting people interested in getting into sim racing, if you want your logo plastered all over the segment, I'm pretty good at spamming people's logos and advertising for you, so get in contact with Brian or I, and we'll work something out.
All right, very good. Congratulations on your third place run today, Steve. And here at Chicagoland, look forward to seeing you at Vegas. We're going to throw it up with Tim Terry. He's caught out with Patrick Baldwin.
Patrick Baldwin, driver number 52 this evening. Position number 4, I'm sure you wanted a little bit more. Those restarts looked killer midway through the race.
Yeah, overall it was a good run, but like you said, those restarts were pretty frustrating. I was just hoping it would stay green, and eventually, especially that last restart, I ended up losing that second spot. And the car was just so tight there on low fuel, and then those JRM guys were really strong, so it was a lot of fun though, that first half.
And you mentioned those short green flag runs. The 52 looked good on those long runs. Setting those restarts up, a lot of those restarts were good. You could keep up with Ray Alfala. How pressure-packed was it trying to keep up with Ray on some of those starts? It looked good trying to keep up with him side by side on some of them.
Yeah, it was just all about timing. A couple of them there I had really good, and almost beat him to the line one time, and actually had to just back out just a little bit. And then Conti, I saw him coming up through the field there. He's like a restart master or something. I don't know, but guess I got a little bit of work to do there to avoid that happening. But overall, I'm happy with a 4th place finish.
And it'll move you up a little bit in the point standings as well, heading in to the next week. Unofficially right now, 7th in the point standings. 86 points to Mike Conti's 125, heading towards Las Vegas. What do we expect there? And with that 7th place in points, how big is that points picture really in your mind right now?
Well, I'm really looking forward to Vegas. I got something working pretty good here at Chicago, and figure the setup should be pretty close. Looks like we have a little bit of work to do, though, to catch those DRM guys, but we'll dig, and hopefully we can find it. And season's looking pretty good so far. 7th in points, 2 top 5s. Just try and go out there and run solid every week. Hopefully top 5, top 10, and points will add up eventually.
Now, I know you have a blank hood on that race car. I know you want to fill it. Who makes it happen each week for you to get to the racetrack, and how can they get in contact with you to fill that hood?
All the guys over at Sim Chassis and JDR Graphics. If you're interested in sponsoring me, you can just shoot me a PM on iRacing or email me at pbaldwin85@att.net. Be more than welcome to email me anytime you want.
That's Patrick Baldwin, 7th in points, 4th here this evening at the Chicagoland Speedway. Congratulations to the Sim Chassis number 52. We're going to give our Twitter $25 iRacing gift card away in just a few moments' time, but before we do, we're going to kick it over to Nimcross, who has caught up with our 5th place finisher, Tyler Hudson.
Tyler Hudson brings her home in the 5th position here at Chicagoland. Tyler, tell us about your run.
Yeah, it was a good run. Real happy with that top 5 finish for the 2nd week in a row. That's like a major career hot streak for me. So pretty happy with it. It was a hard fought 5th place, racing there at the end with Brad and everything, and the car just wasn't where we needed it this week. I thought we were going to be pretty good, but it turned out to be a little bit off and a little free coming off the corners there. And but all in all, a really good showing again this week.
Well, you came into this race in 4th in points. Your 5th place finish here today will probably move you up maybe into 3rd, maybe 2nd, probably 3rd in points. What are you looking at your run for the championship? How confident are you that you might be able to take this cup home?
Well, I look at the points, and I actually lost a spot there. Fell back to 5th, which is that's kind of a bummer to drive that hard and fall back a spot in the points. That just goes to show you how competitive these guys are, and all the guys up there in points are going to be ones you're going to have to deal with for the championship for sure. So It's tough, but it's a good deal. I'm really happy to be 5th, and I think if we can keep clicking off top 5s or top 10s every week, which is going to be really hard to do, but if we can do that, you know, who knows? It could happen. My goal from the start of the season was a top 3 in points, so I think we're on track for that. And then last year I think I got 7th or 8th, but I ran around 5th the whole season, so I think top 3 is a good goal for this season.
Well, running good here usually means you're pretty good for the next race at Vegas. What do you feel about that?
Well, we actually have a totally different car for Vegas. We tried to interchange them a little bit, and it didn't really quite work out how we had wanted. But I'm not too sure. I struggled there when the A class was there a couple weeks ago or last week or whatever, and so we got some work to do. But the teammates are the best there is, so I'm sure we can get it dialed in before the race.
All right. Well, great job here at Chicago. Tell us who makes it happen for you.
Yeah, I got to thank Gale Force Suspensions and all the guys over there. Joe Holt was on the spotter stand for me tonight and called a lot of the stuff going on and really helped me along and coached me, and just everybody over there. I mean, it's so nice to have such a good team. So I got to thank those guys. Tim's Corner for his sponsorship on the car, and I guess that's about it. I need a primary sponsor, so if anybody out there wants to get on a car, just contact me, I guess on the forums or something. But yeah, thanks to everybody.
Tyler Hudson brings her home 5th here tonight, and then we have throw it back to Tim Terry, who's got Brian Schoenberg.
Well, he had one of the most exciting nights, I think, of anybody in this field. Brian Schoenberg, number 55, comes home in position number 9. Brian, walk us through that restart.
Which one?
The one where you were out in front of the field coming to the green.
Oh, well, that was an interesting one, Tim. Basically what happened was my car was messed up, and with the way we have the rules now and iRacing and everything else, you can't pit with like 2 to go or something like that, so pit road was closed. I had every intention of pitting. My car was wrecked, and my tires were shot, and I was going to come down pit road for 4 tires, but pit road was closed, and I would have gotten black flag. So I stayed out, kept the lead, and I was just hoping that, you know, we get a quick caution or something, and I jumped it a little too soon, and pace car gave me a black flag, you know, because I passed it, and, well, it was interesting.
You had a little bit of damage, had the opportunity to come down, get a little bit of that repaired, and then you start marching up through the field after getting the iDog, and you came to position number 9. Passed a lot of cars to get there, though.
I'll tell you one thing, Tim. We've run 3 races this year, and in all 3 races, I've had sorts of problems and everything else, and I've gone back to the mid-30s. Today, we went back to 38 the lap down, and so far, 3 top 10s in 3 races. I can't really complain, but I'll just tell you what, my team is just so awesome. I mean, I was looking at the broadcast on the archive session, you know, PSR TV, a couple days ago from last year's Chicagoland race, and, you know, Nim was talking about how bad my car was handling and everything, and now that I'm on this team, Main Performance Racing, they took me at one of my worst racetracks, and we could have ran the top 5, top 10 with ease. But if I could just stop kicking myself in the foot and we could just have one clean race, I mean, we'll finish really good. But this team is just on fire, and they just bring great cars to the track every week, and their efforts are just unnoticed with me. I'm just so impressed with what we've been able to do so far.
You're 4th place in points, 18 points behind the leader. Do we see Brian Schoenberg as the DWC champion this year?
I don't know. Consistency is everything. You got to win races, and you can't do that if, you know, you don't win. You can't win the championship if you don't win. But my problem is, Tim, I keep just choking in qualifying, and qualifying in today's world is so important that if I could start in the top 3 to 5, we'd have a good old day. But I just need to stop screwing up qualifying, and we'd be money. Our team is just really good.
You mentioned the new team. Who else makes it happen for you each week?
Well, just great teammates like Jeremy Allen, Brad Wright, Daniel Pope, Jason Loafing. They just tested forever, and everyone on Main Performance Racing. I just have to thank Mike Main, Oboto Gaming Cockpits, Main Performance PC, and ProGate Consulting with Matt Salo. And real quick, also congrats to Ray on the win. Don't get to work with him anymore, but he's still a good friend, and you know, I'm just so happy with this team that I'm with, and we just keep bringing great cars to the track every week, and hopefully we can keep it going. And thank you guys for the broadcast, and looking forward to watching it later, and y'all have a good night. Thank you so much.
And you sure made it exciting. Brian Schoenberg, driver of the number 55, comes home in P9. Before we close the door on this evening's show, Nimcross has caught up with Chris Overland, his best finish in the Drivers' World Championship, coming home in P7.
P7 for Chris Overland at Chicagoland here, a race that had 12 caution flags for 50 laps and only 3 lead changes. Chris, tell us what was going on out there.
Well, I was behind quite a few of those wrecks. Not sure how I made it through a lot of them. Just a bunch of luck. I put a lot of hard work into the setup this week. Me and all my teammates at Flipside Motorsports, and I guess karma came back and helped me out, gave me a little push to get up there into the top 10 because the car was great, but we're running up there with those guys like Brad Davies and Tyler Hudson, and the guys who seemed to run up front all season. It was just there was no way I was going to run with them. I just stayed behind them and watched them race for the rest of the finish there. But yeah, just all in all, a great car. Everybody at Flipside Motorsports worked really hard. Adam Gilliland, John Adams, Alex Warren, everybody over there.
You mentioned John Adams. He's a new teammate of yours this week, and he had a good run going on early in the race, but it didn't work out for him. How's the new teammate been working out?
Oh, well, he's definitely brought a lot of new things to try out to the team there. He ran a little bit looser setup than what I intended on running, as you could probably tell. But he does things a lot differently. So if we're struggling one week, he can always do what he does, and maybe he'll hit on something as opposed to the way I do things. So it's really nice to have a teammate like John and a teammate like Alex and Adam and everybody over there. So just all in all, got potential to be a great team.
Vegas in 2 weeks. Tell us about that. Then tell us who makes it happen for you.
Well, Vegas, a lot like this track. I don't suspect to run as well as I did here because I don't think the luck is on my side as much. Vegas, I've not really had very good runs there, despite the setup. But hopefully, just finish the race. That seems to be one of the big deals in this series. Just getting to the end is one of the main factor in getting good finishes. So. And as far as people I want to thank, just Scott Granberg at GSRacing.net, JD Laird, JDR Graphics, Core Piping Solutions, just all those guys make it happen for me, and I would not be here right now if it wasn't for them.
Well, outstanding run today. In 7th place, Chris Overland brings her home, and we'll throw it over to Tim Terry.
And we have our Twitter winner for the $25 iRacing gift card. We had some great tweets, including some of these, and these aren't the winners, but you wouldn't know that these guys are running Chicago with the way some of these cars look. I don't always watch iRacing DWC, but when I do, I scream at the screen, and they're driving like they stole it at Chicagoland with Chicagoland, NiSWC is the hashtag there. The winner is Maxi Mini 19. 14 years old, leading the points. That's impressive. He's one of the guys who was driving with their head tonight. Keep it up, Michael. So congratulations to Mike Conti on taking that point lead again, and one of the factors that will be in this Drivers' World Championship this season. Final thoughts, Nim, before we close off the show. Fantastic race, and I know with the Twitter thing, I gained 3 followers. How many followers did you gain?
Well, I'm not really into the Twitter thing yet. I have to look at that, but it was kind of a lot of wreckfest here tonight, and you'll have that from time to time. We were expecting a little bit better. Hopefully we get a little bit better at Vegas in a couple weeks, as these drivers have a couple weeks to calm down and look at what was going on. Hopefully we'll have a little bit better one at Vegas, but it should be exciting.
You know, Steve Myers and Tony Gardner are on Twitter too. We got to get you on here.
Yeah, I hear it's a lot of fun. I see a lot of it.
We'll have to get a hashtag going. Of course, you can follow me at TimTerry0. You can follow PSR TV at PSR TV. And, of course, iRacing at iRacing on Twitter. That's going to do it for us here this evening. Had a lot of fun putting on the show here at Chicagoland. 2 weeks' time, we head to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. You will not want to miss that one. Michael Conti, for the first time in his sim racing career, enters as the points leader in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Congratulations to Ray Alfala, car number 2, the Pro Geek Consulting Chevrolet, on the victory here this evening. So for our whole crew, Ian Bushing, Nim Cross, Zach Stanko, PJ Losi, Chuck Johnson, Matt Racing Kid Thomas, Ilka Happala. I'm probably missing a couple. My name is Tim Terry, saying we will see you in 2 weeks' time when we say, let's go racing from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Keep the hammer down, and we'll see you at the track.